Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh well, I mean, it's going.
Well,
I'm not even sure what day it is. I guess it's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday or is it
it
Thursday? I don't
is.
know.
It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, and I want to tell you that in addition to our headquarters, which is Rumble, today marks a very interesting show. That when I discovered there's something I feel like such a kind of bum, but there's this thing called locals, and
Uh-huh.
I always thought innocently that when I stream on Rumble, it automatically streams on locals. Now. I once opened something. I did a profile or a community or something on locals. I don't even know if anybody looks at my community there or anything. But today I discovered there was a button that I press, and then it'll also stream on locals. So we're not only on Rumble, we're not only on YouTube, we're also on locals today.
But not on Kick or Twitch
Wait. That's
or
another
Punk
thing that
or
once I did that, I was looking and it also said, oh, like, do you want to stream on Twitch? Now, the funny thing is, I once opened a Twitch account. I don't think that I've ever posted anything there, but I connected it. I had to like reset the password because I didn't even remember what password I have to use to get into Twitch to connect it. But I managed to do it. I reset the password. I said connect it to my Twitch, and yeah, now we're all over the place. We're on multi platforms. Uh, it's strange though. I don't really Twitch is certainly not a place that I visit. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's a good platform or not. There's certain creators that are there, and those creators usually give me kind of a not such a good impression. It could be that there's wonderful creators on Twitch too. I just usually hear about the ones that kind of like don't rub me the right way, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I get you.
But
There's some interesting creators over on Twitch. I used to spend quite a bit of time over on Twitch, but for various reasons.
what do people
So
do? Do they play like games there? What do they do
it
on
just
Twitch?
depends. There's various different people that are over there doing different things. Yeah, there's a streamer over there. During COVID, I spent a whole lot of time. During the coof, spent a lot of time over there on the MST3K live stream channel, and was part of the community and modding over there and stuff. And then and that's where I met Argentum, my internet sister. Argentum.
Let's see. I always forget. So Argentum is a woman because I always thought it was a
Yes.
man. You always tell me it's a woman, and I'm always surprised because it sounds like gentleman, Argentum, and that's
I
why
see.
I always kind
Yeah.
of it never registers. But it's kind of I said it's kind of like the sixth sense that it ends up that Argentum is a woman.
Yeah, I also there's also another channel over there that I followed for years. I mean, I still follow. I just don't frequent there as much. That the guy that he does mixtapes of old, like he gets old videos and he splices stuff together and makes funny mixtapes. That's called Forgotten VCR. It was pretty fun streamer. But yeah, there's never had a whole lot of different streamers that I followed over there on Twitch. Yeah, there were a lot of weird stuff over there, a lot of weird people. I'd never put anyone down for saying they have no idea what Twitch is for, because I get it. Like,
Like I said,
it is a lot of people just playing video games, and
people told me, "Oh, aren't you on Twitch?" So, like, I think years ago, I opened an account, never logged in. I don't even know. I think that maybe sometime in recent years I updated because I kind of like cleaned up my avatar a bit. So then I actually went to Twitch and I uploaded an avatar and re-uploaded the avatar. That's like some of the most serious things I've done on Twitch in recent years. That like in 5 years I logged in maybe twice to update an avatar. But
Mhm.
it's okay. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm very happy if people are enjoying it, and if they run into this stream and they think to themselves, who is this weirdo? Well, maybe they'll enjoy the stream.
Come join the weirdos.
Come join the weirdos on the Night Owl. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on seemingly, but I feel like sometimes, especially in the past few days, most of the stories haven't been anything like really groundbreaking. Unless I've missed something, I don't feel like there was anything really groundbreaking. Just there were a few interesting things that I noticed, and maybe are worth mentioning.
Yeah, there haven't. I feel like there just hasn't been a whole lot of news. I mean, there's not a lot of new shows premiering at the moment. There's not a lot of new movies coming out at the moment. Obviously, we're winding up for the summer season. Of all the films that are due out this summer, but not not a lot coming out right now. Just there is some news connected to a bunch of those things as we're starting to see some news about the Mando and Grogu movie. We're starting to see some news about some of the other projects that are coming out this summer. We're seeing a lot of news recently about Avengers Doomsday, so I'm sure we'll get to chat about that later, but that one's not due out until the end of the year. So yeah, it's like,
and I still don't have such a good feeling about it. I think it'll do enough of those member berries. People will go see it, especially opening weekend. It's going to make money initially, but I don't think that it has the MCU has the type of power it had before. If the original buzz is there, and let's say some people will show up and see what it is, and if the movie is like halfway decent, I think it could make $1 billion. But it's like we keep discussing, they've invested so much money in it that I don't even think $1 billion will cut it. Like if they don't make, I don't know, I'm looking at like 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 billion. It could not even be profitable.
Oh no, there's no way it's going to be profitable. There's not a chance. I mean, look, I see all the money that they're spending, and I've seen our friend Script Doctor was talking about this on X a few days ago, because people were talking about the massive budget for this thing, saying that they spent 400 plus on the film, and they're going to spend another 300 in marketing. And, people are saying there's no way they're going to make a profit. And Script Doctor specifically had a post on X talking about how he's saying, well, they don't care about being profitable, right? That's not the point. His understanding was that the idea is simply like, we're going to spend a ton of money to get people back into the theater, to get people back to watch the MCU. When I look at that and I think about it, I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't.
No,
I think a lot of people are just done. They're done with the superhero films. They're done with the MCU. They've been burnt so many times. I mean, we're talking now. I mean, Price, we're going on 7 years of just a complete, total drought of worthwhile MCU movies. I mean, yeah, there were a few in there. Maybe not a total drought, but bad, right? Just years and years and years of just garbage that nobody cared about going to the theaters for. They've ruined the brand. I don't see even them spending a ton of money dragging people back into the theaters to see it. I can see them spending a whole bunch of that money, that marketing money, to buy up tickets in theaters to make it look like they're selling out theaters, like they did for Captain Marvel. I can see them doing that.
Maybe they'll buy tickets.
Yeah, I can see them pulling that kind of crap. Am I going to go see it? Well, yeah, I'm probably going to go see it because we're going to talk about it.
We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice.
But am I going to take my kids to see it? Do my kids even care about seeing it? No, they don't. They don't care about the MCU anymore. There's nothing there that they're interested in. And even seeing like previews, Dr. Doom. Who's Dr. Doom? I don't know. Why would I care about Dr. Doom? Like, that doesn't, I mean, do I get to see Iron Man again? Do I get to see Captain America again? No, I get to see the other Captain America, or maybe I get to see the Captain America, and then like I also think that there's going to be a major problem here with I'm sure they're going to get big time numbers on the first weekend, but remember if they don't move their premiere date, they're coming out at the same time as Dune 3. And Dune 3 has all of the premium format screens locked up. They have all of the IMAX screens locked up. So you are going, even if they have their big opening weekend, they're not going to get into those really profitable big screens, the ones that people want to put the money out for the most. So that's going to be a problem. And I also think that a lot of people are going to feel a bait and switch. They're going to go to this because they're going to say, oh, look, there's the X-Men in it. Oh, look, there's the, Deadpool in it. Oh, look, there's, my favorite characters from the MCU. They're all here. And then they're going to show up to the theater and they're going to watch them all get killed on screen. And
are you sure that's what they're going to do?
They're not going to come back.
Do they plan on killing a lot of these characters, really? I don't...
Oh, absolutely.
Why, though?
They're all of the X-Men. I guarantee every one of the X-Men is going to die. Every last one. Because they're going to want to replace them with different actors. Right? They're going to want to replace them with different people. If they're going to play, if those parts are going to show up in the new.
Didn't they already learn their lesson from that stupid what was it, Multiverse of Madness thing, where Wanda kills like all the people and everybody was annoyed?
Yep. And they're gonna bring someone has laughably said in the chat a few times, they're gonna bring back Patrick Stewart to play Xavier and watch him get killed on screen for like the 5th time now.
That's funny. They keep killing him.
He's gonna come back to play Xavier to get killed on screen once again. Right? It's just I think there will be a big response. I think, relatively big. For a bunch of people will want to go see it. There will be some buzz for it, especially for the diehards, the people who have been still seeing MCU movies like Thunderbolts last year, right? You're still going to have those people. Those people are going to be at the theater day one. They're going to be there for previews. They're going to be there opening weekend, whatever. But then I think that a whole lot of them are not going to come back for a second viewing. If you want a movie to make $1 billion, you got to keep bringing people. People have to be coming back because they can't wait to see it again. They can't wait. I just don't think that they're going to get that. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to get that kind of response. And so I'm serious. People have been talking about projections. What are we guessing? Whatever. I mean, it's still quite a few months away. It's at near the end of the year. But I'm expecting Superman 2005 numbers for this movie. Seriously, less than 700.
Interesting.
I don't think there's a chance in hell it gets to $1 billion. It's going to have a massive opening weekend. Part of that's going to be because they're going to use marketing money to buy up tickets to talk about sold out theaters. But it's just not going to get that repeat viewing that's needed to push people up into the $1.5 billion. Just don't think it's going to happen.
I understand. Well,
I could be wrong. This movie could be a blast. We could go in and we could all have a lot of fun. But I just don't feel it. I'm so completely down on the MCU now. I just don't care. They've blown it. The universe is ruined. The momentum is gone. I don't think there's enough people out there who care to continue to make to ever make a $400 million movie with a $300 million marketing budget profitable. Just they're gonna have to put it to bed, let it rest, and then they're gonna have to come back and try and do the MCU again, but from scratch. Try and do a new Marvel something, because I think they've ruined it. It's 7 years of just garbage.
Well, something interesting happened now. It's to Phobos.
Yes, we did.
He
We got
gifted
a
5 Price of Reason Live memberships. I want to highlight that. Phobos is a friend of the channel, for those who don't know. And you see him on this stream here and there.
yes.
It's one of the only people. Not that it's that important, but like, it's considered in our VIP club.
Yeah. Oh, there's
I don't know who wants to be in our VIP.
very small number
Very
of people
small
who are
people.
blessed to be allowed.
I don't even know if
Night
Mr.
Owl
Phobos
stream.
wants to be in our VIP club, but somehow he's here and there's nothing he can do now. But in any case, he gave 5 Price of Reason Live gift memberships, and one, the Dead Man received one. The Dead Man is also a friend of the channel because he has his own channel where he does Star Trek stuff, and you should check it out.
Mhm.
Dead Gamers 13, Destiny Captain 247, Ignat's Mouse, and the Padawannabe. It's good to know.
Mhm.
All
Yeah,
of
this
his nice.
Phobos did have another comment here that he sent our way. He said 30% of opening revenues come from PLF for superhero movies. Yeah. So if they don't move, if they don't eventually change their minds, move it back a week, move it up a week, whatever. If they don't do something, they're not going to be in IMAX theaters. They're going to be missing a bunch of premium large format screens. And that is going to seriously hurt their bottom line as well. So,
Rockstar.
yeah.
Rockstar, you're also a friend of the channel, so yes, but Phobos is, and it says it is important to him. Well, he is a member of the VIP club. First rule of the VIP club. You have my friendship, though. I don't know if he's talking to me or somebody else, but in any case, thank you very much for this gift, Mr. Phobos. I really appreciate it. It's very, very kind of you. And yeah, let's see. So first of all, I was trying to think. I saw something recently that they tried to explain why they wanted Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, and they're like, "Oh, he's such a good actor. He's such a good this." Like, I don't really understand until now. I mean, even if they make him suddenly like some version of Tony Stark, I think it only cheapens what happens to Tony Stark in Endgame. And if they just brought him to be Doom, then why? Yes, I know he's Robert Downey Jr. and people like him, but he's not playing the character that people liked. I'm sure he'll do a serviceable job as Doom, but why would Doom look like Tony Stark? Is there a real explanation except for Kevin Feige didn't want to undo Endgame but still wanted the name Robert Downey Jr.? Because I can't really think of what reason to bring him,
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's very simple. He was the heart and soul of the MCU while it was successful.
Right, but they're not
Or at
bringing
least
him back
he was
for that
yeah,
role.
but he's not coming back to be the same character. At least not right away.
No, he's not.
I'm quite certain that they're going to try and pull some sort of bait and switch where he's Doom, but then he's also Tony Stark or some mess like that, right? They're going to do something with that. But they Tomahawk 511 says he's their good luck charm. Yeah. I mean, this is literally I believe what everyone is saying. I believe what Script Doctor is saying. I believe what some of the other people that have been talking about are saying. This is their Hail Mary pass. This is their absolute desperation move. They are spending money like crazy. They are bringing back all these actors. They are putting the band back together because they think it is the only way that they get butts back in seats. That's the only way that they save the MCU. Agreed. It's your best shot. I don't think it's going to work, but it's their best shot. I mean, what else could you do? The only other thing you can do is what I said. You put it to bed. You let it rest for a while. You come back and you do something else with the property later on. You start another shared universe or whatever later on. But I don't even know if they could do that. I think this was a once in a generation thing, right? This was just all the cylinders firing, all the right people in all the right places. They had the right talent. The casting was I mean, especially the uh first few phases as they were bringing in characters, their casting was incredible. That was one of the things that actually made these movies work so well, was the incredibly just perfect, pitch perfect casting they had for so many of the characters. Now there were some misfires, and there were a few people who had, it's a bit like Rhodey. They had to change the actor for him because of
I
contract
still like the
negotiation
original
stuff.
actor better than the
No, I do
second actor.
too. I like them both. I'm fine with both of them. The switch was bothersome at first, but I like them both, and I feel a little bad for, what was the name of the first actor?
Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
Listen, Terrence Howard is a strange guy. He's kind of an eccentric, kind of a bit offbeat. But I'll tell you something. I like Terrence Howard a lot more than Don Cheadle in that role. I'm going to separate here. I think that Don Cheadle, especially, he's a bit like, agenda peddler in his own life and whatever. He's kind of
Sure.
annoying. But I'll say that I'll put all of that aside and just look at his acting. I think that his vibe is, he's a decent actor, but he's a decent actor for a guy who's a little more kind of like annoying. I'm not saying that that's bad, but that's just kind of a role that he convinces me more as. Whereas Terrence Howard felt cool. I don't know if he's cool in real life, but in that movie, in the first Iron Man, I really liked the rapport between him and Iron Man. It felt like there was something cooler going on, and I wanted to see more of that. But then we got the more kind of like annoying Rhodey, and man, what can I do? It's fine. It's just he doesn't have that smooth kind of cool vibe that Terrence Howard had.
Yeah.
And ever since that first movie, it's one of those cases that I have never been so excited about the recasting. I will even say that, especially during those earlier days, I was more forgiving about I'm not forgiving anymore. Let me just, head this off at the pass. But at the time, I was a bit more forgiving with a recast of the Hulk for some reason. Even though Mark Ruffalo has never been my favorite actor, even before like he just became insufferable. But even back in the day, I never thought he was like the best actor. But I kind of just tolerated it, and I'm like, fine, doesn't ruin anything. He's whatever. And these days I can't even stand him. Like even retroactively having to see him in a movie is kind of depressing. I but back to I don't know how we got the Rhodey. I guess what I'm saying is that Terrence Howard, for me, I was really unhappy with the recasting.
Yeah, I will I will go with you there. I think that Terrence Howard, that his take on it, his sort of attitude and like the smirks and the Isfo said chemistry in the chat, like the chemistry that he had with Robert Downey Jr., I think worked a lot better in that first movie than it ever does with Don Cheadle. I think that, although again, I just don't, I don't know. I don't hate Don Cheadle, but also, I mean, it's a relatively small character in the series. So it wasn't as big of a problem, but
Istophobos says Terrence Howard was much better as Rhodey. Don Cheadle is an amazing actor, but terrible Rhodey. I feel it too. There was something, and other people are also saying here. It felt more like Tony and Rhodey respected each other more in the original Iron Man. Like he understood the flaws that Tony had, but he was still a pretty cool guy. So he's trying to kind of work around it in some clever way. And I liked whatever vibe was going on there. There's this scene that they're both on this plane, on like Tony's plane, and there's like ladies dancing or something on the plane. That for me, like when you see them both in that scene, it feels like that's how it should be. You know what I mean? It's funny because you mentioned Script Doctor, and he actually mentioned something this week. And I was going to respond to his Twitter tweet, but I was afraid of causing an international incident. Script is a friend of mine, so I wasn't trying to undermine what he was saying, but I actually had a few stipulations to what he was writing about. He had some, I don't know if you saw this, there was something about Spider-Man. let me see for a second. Spider-Man. I'm going to try to find this now. There was some, tweet that sort of went viral about, oh, here it is. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
So somebody wrote, I guess it says, Kirsten Dunst says she was paid less than Tobey Maguire for Spider-Man, and somebody wrote, because he was Spider-Man. And first of all, I generally I agree with the general idea. Now, if Script Doctor weighed in and said, uh, "Not how that works, buddy. Star power and negotiations brings in higher pay than the playing the title character. Marlon Brando made more money playing Jor-El than Christopher Reeve did for Superman. Even Gene Hackman made more. Alex Guinness made more than Mark Hamill on Star Wars. Granted, not an established IP, but your lead character argument is proven false yet again. Jack Nicholson made more than Michael Keaton in Batman. Jeff Bridges and Terrence Howard made more than RDJ in Iron Man. He left Iron Man 2 because he wanted more, and the studio said no, hence Don Cheadle. Amy Adams made more than Man of Steel than Henry Cavill. It's not about the title character, it's about butts and seats at the time. And I just want to say, up until what Script Doctor wrote here, I agree with every word that Script Doctor wrote. The only part that I kind of have some caveats about is that he wrote at the time Kirsten Dunst was a more bankable actor than Tobey Maguire. However, her reps did a poor job negotiating her pay for Spider-Man. This is also old news, very old news, and your assumption as to why Kirsten Dunst was paid less is very telling. So what I would say is that I'll give Script Doctor something that, representatives have to fight for their clients. So I'm not saying that they couldn't have wrestled a better deal for her. Maybe they could have, and maybe they didn't. You know what I mean? I'm not dismissing that idea. The only thing I'll say is this: Kirsten Dunst, at the time of the making of Spider-Man, and I think he goes on later to explain that, he shows the box office for movies that she was in, box office, the movies that Tobey was in. And I would argue that at the time Spider-Man was made, neither Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst were necessarily household names. It wasn't like the Marlon Brando or Gene Hackman or Jack Nicholson example or Alec Guinness. All of those examples, I can 100% see why they made more money. When it comes to Iron Man, and that's what we were bringing up with Terrence Howard, don't forget that Robert Downey Jr. was basically considered unemployable. Nobody wanted to work with the guy. Him even being in a movie was considered high risk. And,
yes, it was very high risk because he had the number of times he had relapsed and gone back into rehab and all. I mean, he was very much considered a very big risk,
right?
When they brought him in, it was real hard to convince the studio. From what I understand, it was real hard to convince the studio to bank on him until they saw some test footage of him and the casting. They fought really hard for him. And they realized that, he's, the attitude is there and the look is there and it really, really worked. And so it took some convincing.
And I'll say this: there's a few things. A few things can be true at the same time. First of all the stuff that you wrote about the other actors, I agree with him 100%. I would still argue with it in this case. Neither Tobey Maguire or Kirsten Dunst were a Marlon Brando here. You know what I mean? They were both not household names, in my opinion. You could argue that Kirsten Dunst maybe had some higher profile movies, but Interview with the Vampire, I mean, she was a kid playing alongside, more bigger stars. You know what I mean? She's not expected to carry that movie, and she's a child in the movie. I'm not dismissing her work there, but I'm just saying that it's not 100% the same. Even Jumanji, when I think of that movie, I think of Robin Williams, unless I'm wrong. Isn't not the real Jumanji, not the one later with The Rock and Kevin Hart. There was one with Robin Williams, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think about when I think about Jumanji. Was she there as a kid? Did she do fine? I'm sure she did. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not dismissing her work as a kid. Little Women, maybe he's right on that. I don't really care about Little Women because, I'm a dude. So I will say that when I was young, I read the book Little Women. I don't know why I read it, and I suffered. And I don't know why I read it. And I think one of the sisters dies at the end. Sorry, spoiler. And I guess that was supposed to be like a big moment in the thing. I suffered so much reading that book.
That book I believe is already in the public domain at this point, so I think you're fine. I'm not too worried about spoilers for Little Women.
Yeah,
It's 100 years old. I think we're covered.
that's good to know. Well, Mel Gibson, got insurance for, got RDJ insurance for Air America.
Mhm.
I see. Okay, well, I remember that actually. I
Yeah.
remember that people wouldn't employ him, and Mel Gibson, kind of, stuck his neck out for him,
Yeah,
which is
I
why
think I thought the story was that Mel insured him.
it's possible.
That Mel basically told the studio, "I will cover the like I am the insurance. I will pay if something happens."
Yeah, I
I could
mean,
be wrong, but I think that might be I think what happened.
I think that was the case, and, Mel Gibson, he's had his ups and downs in his career and maybe his highs and lows, but I think that, sticking up for Robert Downey Jr. was pretty cool of him. That is something that over the years, Robert Downey Jr. himself has, brought up. I
Mhm.
think that's kind of good. Next, what is it that we let me see what else was I gonna say about it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Small Soldiers was
Small
another
Soldiers,
one. I definitely remember her from Small Soldiers.
I don't even
I
remember that movie at all. And,
yeah.
Bring It On, I'm not saying that it didn't make money. I'm just saying that it didn't make money for me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't buy a ticket to Bring It On.
No.
Uh, I
Not definitely not in my
I
wheelhouse.
I
I saw
will
her in other things, but not Bring It On, yeah.
I will say that at some point, I think I had a girlfriend and she put sometimes you flip through the channels and that stupid movie came on, but this was many years later that I suffered through this Bring It On thing. Um, it's not my cup of tea, Professor. I understand that there's cheerleaders and they're cheerleading or whatever it is that they're doing. I am not the target audience for that movie. Again, much like Little Women and the series and movie Sex and the City, there's certain things that are not my cup of tea. Sometimes I've in the past I've found myself sitting through things that were not my cup of tea. And I think that Bring It On was one of them. It wasn't even just one movie. I feel like I've seen other ones. I've seen like, Bring It On 2. I don't even know what happens like, in the second one. I even think that I saw one that was like it had Christina Milian in it in the lead role. I don't know why I watched this.
Mhm.
I really it's I hope nobody will ever tell anybody else that I watched it. Like, I hope that whoever's listening to this stream now, we can keep it a secret that I ever watched it. Not only for the first one, not only the second one, but the third one, which I believe had like Christina Milian in the lead role. Somebody could Google that because it's not like I don't remember much about the movie. I think that from what I recall, all three movies have the same stupid thing. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There was one movie that had Rihanna show up at the end. Do you know that?
Okay.
One of the
Mm-mm.
movies had Rihanna show up at the end, and I think she's like, "I'm from the ghetto." I know how this sounds. I know how this sounds, but I'm telling you, I think that Rihanna shows up as herself and tells people that she's from the ghetto and leaves. Somebody is welcome to Google it. I just thought of it now, you know? Uh, Professor's like, "Where is this conversation going?"
Yeah, I had no idea where suddenly Rihanna came out of. Okay.
Price has seen a suspicious amount of chick flicks. I'm very ashamed of that. I'm very ashamed. Rihanna was in Bring It On. Maybe was it Bring It On 3 where she was on and she talks about like living in the ghetto. I know how awful it sounds. You're saying like, who is this man and why is he saying these things? I am telling you that such a thing. You know what? I want to find this now, Professor. Where is Rihanna and Bring It On? Rihanna, Bring It On. Are you ready?
Okay.
So apparently, okay, this is Bring It On All or Nothing. It is the third installment in the Bring It On series. Well, if this is the third one, where is Christina Milian in? Because I know that I saw Christina Milian, but let's not think about that now. let's not let's not think about that now, Professor. Price and subscribe to your secret channel. Shh. Okay, so this is Bring It On All or Nothing with Hayden Panettiere. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to Penitent. How the fuck do you say it? Sorry, Sean. How do I say your name? Hayden
Panettiere. Yeah.
Panettiere. Okay. Good work, Professor. There's a reason
I
why
like Hayden. I like Hayden Panettiere.
Yes, she
was in Heroes. She's lovely. She did a good job. I thought she was a fun character.
Caleb says Price sounds like he might be part of the SPLC.
Oh no.
Okay. Before I lose my train of thought, Rihanna was in this movie and she talks about her being from the ghetto or something like that. Something about the ghetto and Rihanna. I know it sounds awful, but in order to clear my name here for anybody that's thinking that there's something wrong with me, I am going to fix this now, Professor. I'm going to find the scene. So it's called Bring It On, and I'm going to write Rihanna. And then, are you ready?
Yeah. Eventually.
Hold on 1 second. Wait a second. This is very important.
Well, while you're finding that, we were mentioning some of the different pictures that Kirsten Dunst was in. I had enjoyed her in a number of her pictures, but there was one in 1999 before she did Spider-Man called Drop Dead Gorgeous. This is not one that a lot of people saw. It didn't do well in the theaters, but it did get kind of a cult following after it came out. And I unabashedly love this movie. It's not one of the best movies ever made. It's a mockumentary about this tiny little beauty pageant in a tiny little town, and it's a very, very dark comedy, but it is hilarious, and I love it so much. It's just so bad. My wife and I make jokes from this movie and quote it all the time. So there's a link to it. It's on Tubi. You can go out and watch it on Tubi, called Drop Dead Gorgeous. So I put that in the chat.
So okay. So now let's see what happens. Let's see. Are you ready for this scene?
She looks very excited that Rihanna's there.
Rihanna, come on! If anyone deserves to be on TV, it's me. Look at them. They're so ghetto.
You know what, Winnie? I've learned that a lot of talented people come out of the ghetto.
I didn't mean it like that.
Yes, you did. That's okay.
I knew you'd understand.
Oh, I do. And that's why I don't judge people by where they come from. I judge them by what they bring to the table. Everybody, give it up for our winners, the kids who bring it all, the Crenshaw Heights
Warriors! Wow, that was some of the most stilted line delivery I've ever heard.
That's right, bitch.
the blonde hair, hazel-eyed.
She's from the ghetto, yeah.
From the ghetto, yo.
Hayden Panettiere.
Panettiere, yes.
But now there's only one little thread that we haven't managed to address here, Professor. Why did I think that Christina Milian was in Bring It On? And now I'm gonna have to find out. Christina Milian. And now I'm gonna write Bring It On.
I don't even know how to spell that last name.
So okay. Are you ready, Professor? This is what you've been waiting for, Professor. Bring It On, Fight to the Finish is a 2009 comedy film starring Christina Milian and a few other people. And then it says, it is the 5th installment in the in the series of standalone films, starting with the 2000 film Bring It On. I am so ashamed, because if nothing else, this proves that I watched Bring It On Again, and Bring It On Fight to the Finish. I'll be honest, I don't think that I've seen more Bring It On than these three. I believe that in this was maybe a situation that I was with a girlfriend, and maybe, you know how in a weekend they were showing like a marathon, they kept showing these movies. That's probably how I ran into it, because there is nothing that I would do on my own. Like, there was no initiative that I would ever take to watch these movies. I feel rather embarrassed that I even admitted seeing them, but I want to be honest with our viewers. I don't want to lie to people. So yeah, there were 5 apparently movies. Now I don't know. Was there more? Was there another one after this? How many Bring It On movies were there? I want to check now. How many Bring It On movies? As you can see, nothing
7.
special.
There are 7.
Okay. Now I have to see. Okay, so there's Bring It On.
2002.
Bring It On Again. Bring It On All or Nothing. Bring It On In It to Win It. Bring It On Fight to the Finish. Bring It On Worldwide. Worldwide. And then Bring It On Cheer or Die. What does that even mean?
Bring It On, by the way, the 6th one there, Bring It On Worldwide, is actually Bring It On Worldwide #Cheer Smack is the actual full title for the
Cheer Smack. It's Bring
# Cheer Smack.
It looks like quite a movie, Professor. Quite a movie.
The age of putting hashtags in the title of your movie. Wow.
I don't understand Cheer or Die. Is it like a horror movie? It says horror comedy. That's so weird. They turned it in the last one. They're just like, screw it. Let's just make it a horror movie. Who cares?
Slasher / horror themed entry. Now I'm curious. What the hell?
No, yeah, the horror Bring It On movie. It almost sounds like a joke. You know? Do they have a trailer for that? I have to see what it's called. Cheer or Die.
Bring It On, Cheer or Die, 2002. The latest, most adventurous edition. The movie premiered on Sci-Fi, premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel. It wasn't even a theater release. It was a Sci-Fi Channel.
Professor, even the one with Christina Milian, it doesn't appear to have been a theatrical release. I think that it was just shown on one of those weekend marathons. Okay, so let's see. We're about to watch the trailer for Bring It On, Ready or Die. Are you ready? Professor?
Let's do it.
Oh my god, we're so dead!
Diablos.
Bring it on!
This is the most awful thing. Like, AI can do something better
This
than
is so
this.
messed up!
That was awful, Professor. It was simply awful. I wonder if anybody watched it. It probably had like the lowest rating ever of anything. Oh well.
Wow.
All of these like sequels are starting to make like Kirsten Dunst look great.
I mean, I like Kirsten Dunst, so.
I mean, she did her best, I guess, with this stupid movie, you know?
I'm not saying she elevates a movie to being good. I'm just saying I like her. I've always liked her. I think she's very humble and she's very committed to her work, and I like her. I don't know.
People watching
it
the
helps
Night
that
Owl-
especially when she was in her prime years was gorgeous. Very girl next door, beautiful.
people watching this are probably like, "How did they get to bring it on?" Oh, it was that thing from Script Doctor. Okay, let's finish this thing because I want to just share my thoughts. So I generally agree. There's a lot of things that Script Doctor wrote, that I agree with, but like I said, I still think that none of the movies on the list for either of these guys are really the kind of movies that somebody walks in like Marlon Brando or one of those people that like Jack Nicholson into the studio. I think that they were both they had their strengths and weaknesses. Kirsten Dunst, you could say maybe had more box office receipt. I won't take that away from script. I think that Toby, this is just my personal opinion. I many years ago watched Pleasantville when it came out, and not a lot of people knew about it. I still don't
God,
know
I
until
saw
this.
I saw that when I came out, and I friggin' hate that movie.
Really? I kind
I
of
hate
enjoyed
it.
it. I thought he
No,
was
I
really
hate it.
good in it. I kind of enjoy. I haven't watched it in many years, but I remember kind of enjoying it, and especially Tobey Maguire's performance. I also liked Reese Witherspoon in it, but I liked Tobey Maguire's performance in the movie. So, if nothing else, I thought that it showed that he was a good actor. I accept what script is saying. There's one final thing, and this is the part where I think that it, it- it's probably why it was more difficult for her representatives to argue for more money. I'm thinking if I'm the slippery Hollywood producer that's making Spider-Man and I just cast Tobey Maguire, what I would do is I would, even if I wanted Kirsten Dunst, I tell him, listen, I already got my Spider-Man. That's the most important casting for me. I already got that. We can have different love interests. We prefer Kirsten Dunst. We think she's the right fit, but we have a few other ladies, and if we have to, with him, it's non-negotiable. We can't move him, but we have other candidates for the love interest. Prefer Kristen. She doesn't want to do it. Fine. We'll find somebody else. And I feel like they could bully the agent more, knowing that they've already locked in a Spider-Man because it is a Spider-Man movie. So I'm not saying that she didn't have a better track record than him at that moment. I'm just saying that they were both not like Al Pacino, and the other thing is that they her representatives could have been pushed around more at that point. Could they have argued? Couldn't they? At some point, and I can only say this, I'll tell you this. I've been in situations, I want to clarify, nothing like a high profile movie like Spider-Man, okay? I'm talking a lot more, not that tier, if you know what I'm trying to say. But I've been involved in a few things, and sometimes when you have like talent that you're in charge of, you also have to read the map. In some cases, you say to yourself, I think I can squeeze more money here. I think I can get a better deal, and you use whatever leverage you have to get the best deal you can. If you think you're in a position where you can do that, but sometimes you're in a position where either you're not sure or you absolutely know that it's you don't have the thing locked up as well as you'd like, and at that point you start thinking to yourself, well, I don't want to lose it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to lose that for your client. You don't want a situation where they'll go with another actress suddenly, because Hollywood is a cruel place, and sometimes if they have three ladies in mind that they thought could have worked, and maybe Kirsten Dunst was their first option, and maybe she had the most credentials, but uh, you know, like I said, I guess at the end of the day, I agree with script on 90% of what he wrote, but still has I have my 10% 2 cents here that I don't know if her representatives could have done better for her. And I don't think it's like a man or woman thing or anything like that. It is the title role. Once they lock that one in, I think it's more difficult for like the agent to come in with like a swinging dick, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But if script doctor is listening or if he wants to talk about it, I'd be happy to have a conversation with him. I always like his takes. Has a lot of knowledge. Always enjoy streaming with him as well, and he's a friend of mine. So just want to throw that out there. But it was an interesting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Let me see for a second. Is there anybody still here with us?
That's funny. Ista was laughing. He was saying that if you're trying to convince me that she was supposed to be getting paid more money, you're not doing a very good job.
if
if your point was to try and convince us that she deserved more money, we weren't doing a very good job.
No, I was just saying that I saw Script's tweet today, and I was genuinely thinking
Yeah.
about it, and I thought he made a lot of great points in it, but I still would argue that, you know, I guess what I'm saying is it's easy to blame our representatives and say that, they should have argued for more money based on their box office track record, but I can also see a situation where, when sometimes you feel like you're one kind of demand away from losing the gig, you also don't want to be that guy. Spider-Man, for both of these actors who were not Al Pacino's, this was a big gig for both of them. So he's already locked in as Spider-Man. And you know what? You want to be a part of this movie if you're Kirsten Dunst, even if you were in like Bring It On, and I
Yeah.
don't know what. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the truth was, and I think so. I saw somebody in the chat mention it, but her career wasn't exactly like taking off like a rocket at that point. Like she had been in one or two different well-known pictures by that point, and a few other less well-known but still successful pictures. But at the time, like yeah, she was not the household name. She was not somebody who was, going to sell, tickets to that movie. It was, yeah. It doesn't surprise me that not, she was not number one on the call sheet. She was not the first, she was not the lead of that film, and yeah, I mean, she's not like a huge box office draw either. So yeah, I mean, obviously, there's always going to be times when you're bringing in some big name that you're using to try and boost your picture, like Marlon Brando, whatever, and they're going to demand a really high salary for the little bit that they do, but that puts butts in seats. I don't think Kirsten Dunst was putting butts in seats for the Spider-Man movie. Again, lovely woman.
I mean, listen,
but
I would still argue
yeah.
it's not necessarily that I think people said, I'm thinking of going to see the Spider-Man movie. Who's playing Spider-Man? And then somebody says Tobey Maguire. Oh, I didn't think I was going to go, but now I'm going to go. I don't think that Tobey Maguire was like the butts and seats person either. And I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think that she was the butts and seats person. And that's what I would argue, that
Yeah.
they were both sort of in a place in their career that they did some roles that people saw, and some things that you could say were relevant, and you could even say that she had better box office track record, was doing it for more years than him. I give you all of that, but I still think that neither of them were a household name. So at that point, if you're the producer, you can just say, as bad as this sounds, the producer could easily have just said, the movie is called Spider-Man. We got our Spider-Man. Now we just need the girl next door. It's going to be Kirsten Dunst. We prefer her. It's going to be her. Great. Not going to be her. Great. I have like 4 other ladies here. Your client doesn't want it. No problem. We have another lady. You can't swing your dick the same way with like Spider-Man as you can with Mary Jane. And I feel like probably there was an agent at the end that said, hey, you know what? Fine, let's just do it. So I'm not even going to throw those guys under the bus. It is what it is. I will say, though, that her continuously bringing it up like 70 years later is also rather pointless. I mean, there are certain movies that I think that it makes sense. I'll give you an example. I think that on Law and Order, the stars of the show was like Christopher Maloney, and the main stars, and Haggerty, and Marissa Haggerty, okay? They were the stars. Now, I think that at some point they would always, or they would always give like Christopher Maloney a little more than her. I could be wrong, but I thought such a thing existed. And then, she's like, hey, we're the co-stars. Why am I not getting like him? That's an argument that I can understand. You know what I'm saying? I can understand why somebody will say, well, if we're both the stars of the show, why is he getting more than me? I'm not sure that happened. I'm almost sure it did, but I'm like 90% sure. I could be wrong. But that would be, for example, an argument which I can understand why somebody doesn't feel right when they're all doing the same thing. They're getting the ratings, they're the stars of the show. And one can say, well, I'm putting in the same effort as he does. And I have, there's people that are tuning in to watch me too. If you removed me from the show, it would matter to somebody. You know what I mean? So they could make that argument there. When it comes to Spider-Man with 2 relative, I want to say relative unknowns, not household names, I don't think that either of them were the big thing there. That's, I guess, all I'm saying.
Yeah, and Istvobos is mentioned several times in the chat. Yeah, it's the implication is, yeah, of course, that she was paid less because she's a woman. That's
Right.
ridiculous.
That's always the implication.
There are so many other elements that have to do with who gets paid what in a film besides the sex of the actor and actress. Like there are so many other things. Who gets, there's people who have been willing, they've changed, negotiated their salaries to say, well, tell you what, I'll take less of a salary if you put my name further up in the credits, or I'll stuff like that, right? There's all of these crazy negotiations that go on behind the scenes for how much they're getting in salary, how much they're getting in points on the back end, or how much are they getting of any kind of other parts of the the money that the movie's making. And then there's other things to consider, like credits and where those go and what.
Right, and I will still say that I've been in situations. This applies to entertainment, like the type of movies and TV shows. I've done that. I've also done talent programming for shows where people performed and things like that. And sometimes when you're working with an artist who's hot at that moment, and you can book him from the show because he maybe has the songs, he's like the right fit for the event, and he that they're going to pay him the money, then you walk in with a little more confidence versus maybe it's a show with a lot of big acts or like bigger names or something like that. And in that case, maybe you can't do swing dick. Or if, let's say, it's a situation, I'm trying to think of an equivalent one, when it comes to performing. Let's say there's 3-4 bands which are at least are pretty okay, or some people know them and they're already there, and then you try to bring a fourth one, and then the person is already like, we already got our lineup, they're there, they're not there, we can also bring somebody else. I can see this going a lot of different ways. So like I said, sometimes a lot of things could be true at the same time. I agree with them that there were big names like Nicholson, Hackman, and Brando that got more money than the star. That absolutely happened. I agree that the agents in some cases could make mistakes and maybe they could fight more. But I also am saying that sometimes the agent is also in a difficult spot, and you do the best you can. And I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that Kirsten Dunst was a woman, as much as their highest priority making a Spider-Man movie in this case was that the Spider-Man thing had to be locked in. If they thought that they had their Spider-Man, that was the sigh of relief that they had. I'm sure that there was a sigh of relief when Kirsten Dunst said she'd be Mary Jane, but it wasn't as big as the sigh of relief as they did when they had the Spider-Man, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, and with all that being said, I liked Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. I really liked her in that role.
Yeah, I did too. She was very likable. She had solid chemistry with the other characters as well. But go ahead.
No, so go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Someone mentioned in the chat there was the Star Trek. It was Kodo Rob. Was the Kirsten Dunst Star Trek episode? Yes, she was in an episode of TNG. I cannot remember the name of it. Dark Vision. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, no, it's actually really, it's definitely a dark episode. It's the one where Luoxana Troy, they're doing some sort of ambassadorial meeting with some species or whatever, and there's a little girl, the alien girl, and it's Kirsten Dunst, and it dredges up a traumatic memory for her, which was something that she had never told her daughter about. When she was very young, when she was a baby, she had an older sister that died. She fell in a river and drowned. And you find out about that throughout the course of the episode. That Deanna Troi had, that she has to kind of go into her mother's mind, and she's trying to keep this traumatic memory buried. And yeah, it was that she had lost a child. She had lost Deanna's older sister had died, and it was very, very sad. Argentum says Dark Page. That sounds right. Yeah, Dark Page. I
Somebody
knew it was
said
dark something. 'Cause damn, is it a dark episode?
Putin is saying that he liked when Mary Jane was wet.
Was a little
I
wet? The wet dress?
uh,
Yeah.
she was in
That's
the rain. Apparently, Toby Maguire liked that as well because I think that he started dating her right after that situation, even though they broke up prior to filming the second Spider-Man movie. It's kind of weird that they were together and then they broke up.
yeah.
Honestly, I was thinking about it. If I had a production, I would maybe make like a contract that says that they can't date.
Yeah.
I know that's a terrible thing to say, especially when there's like years between each installment, but you know what? They're ruining my film. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like that now they're dating in real life because they're spoiling. What if it becomes really, in this case, they kept it professional, they remained friendly, blah, blah, blah. But, it's like, imagine I was in a relationship and let's say it was serious for a few years, then we need to film a movie and we're like breaking up. It's like, it's sort of annoying. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't think it's a good thing. I think that they shouldn't have, there should be, this should be squashed, in my opinion.
It can make things messy.
Right, and the thing is, in any other business, when you have, like, 2 people, I guess in this case, you could say they're, like, equals, but in every other business, these days, everybody's always scrutinizing everything, but, like, nope, Hollywood, like, they're cool with everything, I guess. I don't know. I
Don't
mean, listen,
wanna
I think
yeah.
that back in the day, there were a lot more office romances and stuff like that, and that wasn't necessarily a bad thing either, because people didn't have the internet, they didn't go out all the time, and you met some people at work, and, I think that relationships were more commonplace back in the day. That's kind of changed. So, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I think there were, back in the day, there were, business contracts, especially in entertainment, where they would say like, no, you can't, you can't screw your coworkers. Yeah,
I mean,
like
for me, it's just
you
like
can't have ongoing relationships and stuff, especially that, there were sometimes there were some that were, they were performers and stuff where basically they told them like you can't have a significant other because we want the audience to think they can date you, to think you're available, right? Stuff like
right.
that. So if they did end up having some sort of relationship, some or tryst or something like that, like it had to be buried, it had to be hidden, like nobody could know.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Good morning to you as well. But what was I gonna? Listen. Times were different. Even in the year 2000, times were different. Maybe today there's different demands. I'm just being, it's not fair for me to be judgmental. I really think that up until the year, even like 2005-ish, 2005 to 2010, I still think like there were more people in office romances and things like that. I think that maybe over the past 2 decades or so, that's significantly diminished. And then when the Me Too thing came along, I think it diminished very, very much. Like if there was still something going on, that was the thing that came and like squashed it all. Now, like nobody wants anything like that. By the way, Professor, there's been an interesting development while we were streaming. You know what that development is?
An interesting development.
I just
Um,
looked. I just looked, and first of all, I'm happy. Like YouTube Rumble, we have a nice audience. I'm always happy with that. But I looked, and on locals, I hope you're ready for this. We have one viewer on
oh
locals.
my goodness.
Which basically means he's not locals, he's local. He's the local.
He is the local.
We got
He's
one
the
guy.
when you roll through a town that's basically a ghost town, but there's the one guy that runs the gas station. And you have to ask him, how to get to the next town, and he tells you, you can't get there from here.
And
It's the one guy.
yeah. Ooh-wee. There hasn't been no passengers here in 20 years. Or something like that, you know what I mean? So something weird like that. So yeah, so that's the guy in locals. But whoever you are, sir, whoever, I assume it's a sir. I don't think there's a woman sitting on locals watching us. I'm going to assume it's a
Yeah, who
sir.
knows?
You never know. You never know. I don't want to be exclude anybody. It could be a woman. I'm gambling that it's a man. So you sitting there, you're the local. We thank you for joining our stream. And Price, Script, and I are maybe a little older than some here. Maybe Prof. 2, not sure. Cheers, folks. I don't know, have any context. Hey, Marla, nice to see you.
Hello, Marla.
Didn't have any context. How did we get to all of these places? Why did we even get to where we got? I feel like we did a very strange,
just all over the place. Yeah.
What was on our docket? What were we talking about?
Project Hail Mary was the first thing on the.
So yeah, I'm seeing more and more articles, like, every day coming out either from CinemaCon, whatever it was, or even after that they keep mentioning what a big win Project Hail Mary was. And it's funny because a lot of these kind of industry trades, they don't bother explaining what I think that, the reason is that it did well. Mainly, it just doesn't bother its viewers. Everybody seemed angry that, like, Andy Weir went on Drinker's show and that he told them that he doesn't want politics in his books and movies. And he just wants people to have a good time and, like, the escapism and all that. What's wrong with that? Like, first of all, they all seemed all up in arms. They made a big scene. They made him apologize, which they would never do to anybody else unless it involved Drinker and, like, and quote unquote, like, hurting Kurtzman's feelings, who's a disaster and doesn't deserve any sympathy from anybody. I mean, dude has like $100 million. I don't feel bad for him. He already did his heist. And back to, what was I going to say? What is it? Did I say about him that he did the Lufthansa heist with Star Trek, or was that somebody else? I'm saying that, like, when you look at the biggest heists ever in history,
yeah,
I think Alex Kurtzman, like, taking over Star Trek has to be one of them.
Yep. And then but then one of the guys went out and was buying a fur coat and a car for his wife, and had to be dealt with after the Lufthansa heist.
Yes.
I remember that. I remember Goodfellas. Love that movie.
That's when Robert De Niro was still Robert De Niro.
Oh, everyone is themselves like 110% in that movie.
It's so sad what happened to Robert De Niro, because I really enjoyed growing up. There was no reason. And the thing is, he doesn't benefit from all his weird political stuff. Nobody cares. He's only damaged himself, his legacy, and all of that. And for what? And the thing is that, it's what do they say with these glass houses or whatever it is? De Niro is not a squeaky clean guy. I like him as an actor, but if you're gonna think you're gonna go and, like, dig into everything this guy's done and everything, like, has been great, there's a lot of things that he's done that are probably not that great. And I think that if you're that guy, maybe just focus on your career and let it go. You know what I mean? I think that you're probably not in a position to kind of lecture other people about morals and all this stuff. I really think he isn't. The best thing he had going for him for many years was he was an actor, and he didn't really blab much in the press. He didn't hear his shit every second. That was good. Pacino still knows that lesson. Pacino, once in a while you see him in interviews, talks about a few things, just general things, and walks away. I think that great actors know that they don't need any of that stuff. The ones that dwell on all this political stuff, I think it means that they have a problem. Same with, like, Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon is such a dum-dum.
Yeah. No, I don't care for Susan Sarandon at all.
No, and thankfully I can pretty much, like, write off all of her movies. Like, if you say, "Oh, you can't watch her movies anymore," it's like, okay, that's fine. Like with De Niro, it's more difficult. De Niro is in The Godfather Part 2. He's in Goodfellas. It's not something that I can easily just say, okay, well, whatever. Susan Sarandon. What have we got? Like, what is it? The Client. What do we got? Thelma and Louise. You can take Thelma and Louise now. I don't care. I don't give a shit what happens to Thelma and Louise. It was a good movie, I guess, that, it was really appealed to women back in the day when it came out. I saw it in the movie theater when it came out. I was a young man, and I had great expectations. I thought, oh, this is supposed to be a really good movie. I've been hearing great things about it. And then I sat and I watched it. And then, especially in the end came along with the car and the cliff and whatever. I'm like, this is the movie. This is the movie they said was good. This shitty thing. Sorry, Professor. Anyhow, she did okay, and That's My Boy. I don't even remember what was that with Adam Sandler. I don't even remember what movie that is. Is that the one that he's the father of like Andy Samberg or something? I could be wrong. I don't even know. But yeah, I think that Susan Sarandon, her best work was like in the movie Joe, the Client, maybe. I struggle to remember anything else that like she was even mildly acceptable in.
Honestly, I can't remember the last thing I saw her.
Yeah.
I mean, other than I immediately think of Thelma and Louise, obviously, but
yeah, and Thelma and Louise was like whatever. It's just like
Yeah. That movie was so overrated.
So overrated.
So overrated.
They just
a bunch of
liked it.
feminist crap. They had to
Feminist.
pump it up. Yeah. Bull Durham. I do remember her in Bull. Okay. Yeah. The
Yeah,
baseball.
Yeah, with Kevin Costner.
With Kevin Costner.
I watched that movie maybe once. Some people really like that movie. They're like, it's such a great baseball movie. You know what? I watched it once. Never went back to it.
No, it's not an amazing baseball movie. It's a romantic comedy mostly.
It's no Field of Dreams. Okay?
No,
Field
it is
of Dreams,
not Field of Dreams. No.
Field of Dreams was a movie that I really enjoyed. I like it. There's something about that movie that I like. I don't watch it every 5 minutes, but every several years, maybe if it comes on or something like that, it's a movie that I like. There's something about it that I connect to. Bull Durham, watched it once years ago. You can have it. Basically, Susan Sarandon doesn't really have like a good legacy. What else have you got? Like Rocky Horror Picture Show? Couldn't give two shits. Couldn't give it two shits about Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think that movie. The only thing I can say about that movie is that Tim Curry is indeed a really good actor. But give me Tim Curry and Clue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm sorry. I know it's a huge cult classic. It is not a good movie. Okay,
No.
it is not a good movie.
Shit.
It is a cult classic. It's one of those ridiculous films that got this cult following because of all of the subversive stuff that's in it. And I get it. I understand why people hell, I watched some of the worst movies ever, and I get why people enjoy watching terrible movies, because there's something about it, like almost the shared trauma of everyone watching this horrible movie together. I get it. I am going to bring we're going to bring it back, Price. It's all coming back together. We're weaving it back together. She was also in Little Women, along with Kirsten Dunst.
I don't even remember. I feel like every few years they make another Little Women movie, and I usually skip them. I feel like I didn't watch the one with Kirsten Dunst. I didn't watch the one with later with like Bob Odenkirk. I don't know why Bob Odenkirk is in Little Women, but I know there's a Little Women with Bob Odenkirk. I like Bob Odenkirk. I will follow Bob Odenkirk to many places, but Little Women is where I'm getting off at this station. You know what I mean? Like, I understand they offered him a check. He collected his check. He went to the bank and he put it in the bank. And I'm not hating on him. Sometimes as an actor, you got to take the gigs that you're offered, especially if they're well paying. And they said, you're in Little Women. He said, great. But I personally don't want to see it. In fact, it's better. It's better for me not to see Bob Odenkirk in Little Women. And Georges Rex is saying she was in Rocky Horror. I didn't know. I think she was Janet Weiss or something, right?
She was Janet. Yeah. Damn it, Janet. Yeah, she's Janet.
And yeah, I mean, I
have seen this movie one time.
I think so too. I think years ago I saw it once, and I said, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen. I never want to watch it again." And I never did. I thought it would like, and even all, don't you like all them songs, all the thing? No, I don't. I don't like any of it. I think Tim Curry is great. He's a great actor. You put him in Clue, fantastic. And I really genuinely rate him as an actor. But Rocky Horror Picture Show, screw that. That's just sometimes like something comes along where people supposedly get excited about something and they don't want to admit that it's shitty. And I always feel like Rocky Horror Picture Show is one of those things that they don't want to admit that it's shitty, but it is. But you know what's funny? I read today a post by the Babylon Bee that said something that I said, and that's what I think of the Babylon Bee. I don't have anything against them, but I'll tell you this: it's like it's as if they go search through my like comments. Not that they really do that, but I'm saying like metaphorically speaking, or whatever you want to call it. It's almost as if they search through my comments from like 5 years ago, or my thoughts, or my jokes from like 5 years ago, and then they tell them now. But the thing is like those jokes are not fresh anymore, or it's kind of like I always have this kind of been there, done that vibe from them. At the same time, it's better that they come up with the jokes at some point. At least they sound like something that I would say 5 years ago. So I give them a bit of props, just not full props. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the reason why I bring all of this up is that something happened today. Let me try to find this bookmark where this is it. I found it. I'm going to share this tab instead. Can you see it?
Yep.
The Babylon Bee study finds no one ever actually liked U2. It's just that everyone thought everyone else did, and no one wanted to speak up and make it awkward. So I think that I've been saying jokes like that about U2 for a while, but in this case, say something else. Is that uh, I think that back in the day, maybe from like the 80s to maybe 1991 or early 90s, I do think that U2 had some things that were decent. During that time, generally speaking, I've said things like that before. That's why when I saw the comment, it's like, what? Like you're rating my joke thing from like 5 years ago. But I even though I've joked about it, I do think that early on in their career they had something to offer. During the 80s, most of the bands that were mainstream were all kind of these like new wave synth pop type of things. You always saw like puffy hair with a synthesizer and whatever. I'm not hating on it. It was the product of its time. But I would say that during those years, U2 kind of went more for the idea of being a rock band, and they had like an album like Joshua Tree and Achtung Baby, which I thought were pretty good. Even Rattle and Hum, though that was probably the height of U2. Uh, Joshua Tree, Rattle and Hum, and Achtung Baby, probably the best that they were able to conjure up album wise. If you look at the landscape as to what was going on during those years, I don't think that those were terrible. It's just that this is what my theory is. From the moment that they released the song "It's a Beautiful Day," that's the moment that their career ended. Effectively, it's like from the day that they released "It's a Beautiful Day," they've just been releasing "It's a Beautiful Day" over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day with "It's a Beautiful Day," which in and of itself is not actually a very good song. Do you get what I'm saying, Professor?
Yeah.
It's like before AI existed, Beautiful Day is almost like you fed the entire catalog of U2 until that moment into like an AI and said to the AI, can you listen to all these tracks and generate like a very vanilla and safe, like milk toast track that sort of sounds like stuff that happened in the past, but is very, very vanilla and generic? And then you get It's a Beautiful Day. And then they release it, and the industry, like, what should have happened is that everybody should have said, okay, guys, it's very nice that you tried this milk toast AI thing, but why don't you actually write an album again and stop this nonsense? But the opposite happened. They made more money than they ever made. They like sold more records than they ever sold. Everybody kissed their ass. Like, you had everybody, it's the best thing that ever happened. They're the best. I don't know why. Like, it's such a stupid industry sometimes that like people actually do something worthwhile early on and nobody cares. And then like they lay like the biggest egg and everybody's kissing their ass. So that's what happened with Beautiful Day. And they learn the wrong lessons from it. You know what? I would argue the same thing happened to Aerosmith. Aerosmith, like back in the 70s, you could say they were a rock band. Then they released like, one of those like was dying when I met you. Which one is that? Fuck, I can't remember. I was dying
Yeah, that's
crying when I met you. That annoying thing. And then like they put like Alicia Silverstone or something in their video, and somebody said, "This is so great. Look, it's like you're selling a ton of records." They said, "This is great." Then they're like, crazy. What is it? Crazy. It's like the same song.
yeah.
Crazy. What the fuck is that crazy one?
I do not remember.
Crazy for you, baby. It's like the same. It sounds like they took the same chords from the other song, and they're like, "This time you're not dying. This time you're crazy." It's like, "I'm crazy for you, baby." And they said, "You've done it again." And this time, I think they said, "Okay, we're not going to just put in Alicia Silverstone. Let's now bring Liv Tyler in, because I guess he discovered he had a daughter, and the daughter looked nice, so now she was in his video." Hey, I call him as I see him, okay? That's what I remember. Because I think when Liv Tyler originally, she didn't know, like, he didn't know, or she didn't know that he was her father. And then only later in life, it turned out that she was his daughter, and then she was in his video. I'm not going to go and start thinking about, like,
Yep.
all the events that led to what. I just know that it's a strange story to begin with. But now Liv Tyler was in the video, although I will say that Liv Tyler did look good in that video. Not going to lie to you. So did Alicia Silverstone. I'm not going to lie to you there either. But again, two songs sound the same, and then I think that
there's nothing worthy. There's nothing worthwhile Aerosmith after they got out of the 80s, 90s, and everything after, just slop.
Right,
It's
and then
worthless.
there's another one. Then there's okay. Then they had the Armageddon song, and that's already like the peak of bullshit. They're like, fuck it. I can't even remember. It's like I'm blocking the song.
Don't Want to Miss a Thing was the song from Armageddon.
It's a mischief. I don't want to miss a thing. It's so awful. It's so awful, Professor.
It's bad. It's bad. And it got played non-stop on the top 40 radio too, and it was just like, go away. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Aerosmith fell into the Diane Warren songwriting trap. Did she write those songs? She could. She may as well have. They were awful. Like, intolerable. The only song, and even that one wasn't very good, that, like, from those hits from those years, they had like Living on the Edge. I think that was from like Pet Sematary 2, a terrible movie with Edward Furlong. The first movie was terrible, and then the second one, I don't even know if I was able to finish it. It's like, as embarrassing as the first one was, I don't know why they even tried to make like Pet Sematary 2. I think such a thing happened. And then they had like Living on the Edge, you can't set up from dying. Something Living on the Edge, something.
Yeah.
So that movie that movie sucked, and that song was almost tolerable, kind of, but not really. It was also kind of shitty.
Yeah. All I know is if I'm thinking of Aerosmith songs, I'm always thinking of something
70s.
That's from the 70s or the early 80s. I'm thinking about like Dream On,
yeah.
Walk This Way, Sweet Emotion. Maybe even some of the stuff.
Janie's Got a Gun or whatever.
Yeah, Janie's Got a Gun. Dude Looks Like a Lady. Love in an Elevator. Some of the later 80s stuff. Maybe a song here and there. Not a whole album, but a song here and there. But yeah, if you want to go back, like, it's the more like blues inspired like 70s stuff that I'm really thinking about most of the time when I think about Aerosmith.
So he said Walk This Way with Run DMC. I like their version with Run DMC.
Yeah, it was good.
I have, not that it matters, but in the distant past, I even did some work with I had some connection to Run DMC many years ago, but not really something interesting. In any case, the Ramones song Pet Sematary was awesome. I 100% agree.
Oh, the Ramones are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Ramones in general, and Pet Sematary.
That was punk, man.
That was punk for real. They're the real deal. They're not like bullshit punk. That's real punk.
No, that's real punk.
And Pet Sematary was great. I like the lineup there. It was one of the later songs that they still had like Dee Dee in their lineup. I think that I'm not saying that they didn't do serviceable things once Dee Dee left, but I really feel like the best the best years were when Dee Dee was also in the band because
Mhm.
he contributed a lot to the songwriting and added a lot of the personality of the band. So that was a song where he was there, and that's cool. But yeah, I like the song
Yeah.
generally speaking.
And then, yeah, I mean, going back to U2, yeah, you were talking about that. I basically anything after Octung Baby, just forget it. Like, there's nothing worth listening to. I mean, there was, what was it called? Not Zootopia.
I will say something. Some may contain traces of seafood. Says Price helped Run DMC unlearn how to tie their shoelace. I will say this. I actually they told me, or somebody, let's put it this way, somebody from the Run DMC, one of the people from Run DMC, sat down and told me some story about spending time with Michael Jackson, and then Michael Jackson had Bubbles, the chimpanzee, and i- based on the story I was told, Bubbles was like really, a very aggressive chimp. He like
No, many of them are.
he was like
Yeah.
causing like mayhem and stuff, and people were just kind of being nice because he's with Michael Jackson, but like kind of really disturbed by him because he was really, almost like, I dare say I think that like he was kind of scary or something. Like everybody thinks, oh, it's Bubbles, like he's such a sweet chimp, but
Dude,
apparently
chimps are. I think they had to keep Bubbles on like tranquilizers most of the time. That's what I
Yeah.
understood. Like he was. I mean, seriously, no, chimps are dangerous, man. They will literally tear your arms off. Like they're super strong.
Yeah, so they were uneasy around Bubbles, and that's something that I heard personally from one of the people in Run DMC. But it is what it is. I was intrigued by it. You know what I mean? Just the story of like hanging out with Michael Jackson and the chimp. I'm sitting there with like popcorn. Just tell me more about this. So for me, it was a great thing to be involved in, and to hear that story was great for me. So always kind of enjoy things like that. But
it wasn't Zootopia. Zooropa was the name of the album, and it was
right,
sucked. And yeah, that was early 90s, 93. Yeah, after that was Pop, which was a terrible album.
okay,
All That You Can Leave Behind.
I will say this.
Garbage
I will
from
say
then on
this.
out.
Their height for me was like I said, Joshua Tree, Rattle and Hum, and
Yeah.
what's his face. I would still tell you that even in Zootopia and Pop, there's a few things in there that I think are interesting.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it might be a one or two.
There's a
songs
song
in
called "Please" on Pop that has a few different versions.
Sure,
That is actually
yeah.
maybe one of the last decent U2 songs, post Achtung Baby. When I think of like U2, that was still before. It was before that. All That We Can Do and Leave Behind. I think that's the one that had Beautiful Day on
Yeah.
it. So
All That We Can't Leave Behind was Beautiful Day. Yeah.
right, that's already the end. So I'm saying like in those albums leading up to it, Zooropa had maybe like I agree that it had some experimental stuff with like Brian Eno, whatever he was doing there, that not all of it worked. There's one song that they have with like Johnny Cash, and I like Johnny Cash, so I
Oh, yeah.
tolerated. Like I don't know if you
yeah, that was the one that had him on there, wasn't it?
Listen, a song with Johnny Cash, I kind of like it. So like,
Yeah,
I'll
okay,
let that
yeah.
one slide. There was maybe on the whole, like that Zooropa one. There was like the Johnny Cash song, which he's the lead singer. He's the one singing, and then there was maybe like I don't know one other song that I tolerated. I didn't love the album when it came out, but kind of like there's maybe a song or two. I don't really sit and listen to it. There's a song or two that are tolerable. Pop, like I said, it has the song "Please." I haven't listened to Pop in a long time. "Please" is a song that like based on like I think the level of the song, it could have been in one of their earlier albums, but I'm sure that on that album there's also songs that aren't great. I haven't listened to it in a while. For me though, the last two albums that you could scrape a song or two which were decent were probably Zooropa and
Yeah.
what's his face and
Yeah, The Wanderer was the song on Zooropa that had
the Wanderer was
Cash's vocals. Yeah.
Johnny Cash does the best with what he can there. I don't hate the song with Johnny Cash.
No.
I'll give them something for Zooropa.
Yeah.
Like it has Johnny Cash working with him on a song. I'll give it a pass like that. Okay, I think there was that, and there was a song that kind of annoyed me initially, but over time I kind of put up with it. Maybe it was like Lemon or something. Barely. Lemon is not their best song. Okay, it's like he's like Lemon. He's like sings like that the whole song.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying, but I think that like I semi tolerated it, and the Johnny Cash one. Pop, I haven't listened to it in ages. I will still say that if you listen to the song Please, that could have been like an Achtung Baby. Like it's a decent song. But the album is most likely inconsistent because it's not one that I've revisited many times. Like if anybody ever says you recommend a song from that thing, I'll recommend the one that I just told you. But aside from that, what else do they have? Like, do they have like a song called Discotheque? I don't even know.
Yeah, Discotheque was one that it was like had a bunch of techno, like electronic and stuff in it.
At the time, people were experimenting, doing a little bit of like rock and a little bit of electronic sounds and things like that. Even myself, I was like in bands that during those years I actually tried to experiment a little bit with that myself. I kind of like the idea of doing a little bit of like electronic along with rock. There was a time where it seemed like a cool frontier, and I guess like that was the trend of the moment. Maybe it didn't age well. I haven't heard that pop one in a very long time. Couldn't really tell you one way or another. The only like thing I'll stand on is that one song, Please, is decent. But that Please is probably the last song that they ever released. And they released it like a single too, and it was a decent single. That's like the last thing that band has done that is worth even like saying that is like decent. You know what I mean? And when did Please come out? When did that song come out?
If that was on Pop, that would have been 97.
That's the last time U2 had anything resembling anything that's like decent.
97.
So 97. Now we're in 2026. So is it fair to say that in the past almost 30 years they haven't really done anything good?
Yeah.
I mean,
literally. I mean, we're talking about YouTube. I mean, again, I'm not the biggest music connoisseur, but like I had a friend who was a huge YouTube fan, so he kind of got me into it back in the 80s and the 90s, and to this day, like, if I want to go back and listen to some YouTube, 90% chance it's gonna be Joshua Tree. Maybe Rattle and Hum or Achtung Baby.
I don't get.
That's going to be about it.
Is the Phobos? Are you a fan of U2, or is it bad that we said this about U2? I don't even know what's going on. I feel like it's the Phobos no longer wants to be.
He says Unforgettable Fire was good. Joshua Tree was commercial pop slop. Good slop, but slop nonetheless. Well, I have to agree to disagree. I really enjoyed Joshua Tree,
But what's important is we still only have one person on locals. We have the local.
We have local.
There's like tumbleweeds in locals and that one dude.
And then two people on Twitch, one of which is me.
I wonder who the other person on Twitch is. I really want to know who the other Twitch guy is.
Jacko Boom.
There's a guy called Jacko Boom on Twitch.
Jacko Boom.
Jacko, I want to thank you for joining us today. This is a very, very special moment for us. You're our first viewer on Twitch. And whoever you are on Locals, you're our first viewer on Locals. So it's a big day for the both of you. It's fine. It's the Phobos. We're switching. We're steering away from U2.
We're getting away from U2. No more U2 talk.
No more U2. Here, I'll stop sharing it. In any case, I hope he's back. So I think that's it. Like he's left forever. They peaked with war. Yeah, I mean. Anyhow, where were we, Professor? How did we get here? What were we talking about? What got us here?
We mentioned Project Hail Mary, and then something threw us off into the universe talking about U2.
Yes. Okay. I don't even know what it was. Well, at least we're not talking about Christina Milian's fifth entry into the franchise of Bring It On.
The other spin-offs or competing series like Stomp the Yard.
Wait a second. Somebody just sent us I believe a super chat. I want to address this very much.
Super Chato. Yes.
I hope that this person didn't send it hours ago before we went out.
No, it hasn't been that long. Hasn't been that long.
I apologize, Mr. Phobos, about talking about you two. I didn't know that this was a sensitive subject. Let's see for a second. Okay. Toast the Host 23, who is a channel member, $10 super chat, which is very generous. Since you appreciate compared to others, thank you. Oh, I greatly appreciate. I mean, I wonder what it is that you're specifically referring to that I appreciate, but I appreciate the super chat and I appreciate you being here.
Yes.
And I'm so thankful. Thank you. It's always very nice when people support what we do here. And I always say that we don't demand people of anything. We don't say anything, but we do always appreciate, because on one hand, I don't want to be like PBS, but on the other hand, I am PBS. In a way. What's funny, Professor? I thought about this. I probably told you this before, but I don't know. Maybe not a lot of times, if ever. There was a movie called Pump Up the Volume. Do you remember that movie?
I remember the name, sure.
See, the thing is, I was thinking about it. The movie couldn't get made today. Let me see if I can find the trailer. Does anybody remember the movie, Pump Up the Volume?
It was Christian Slater, right?
Yes. One thing I will say though, Double
was he
R
a DJ or I don't remember.
You two have no edge. That's funny. But I will say this quick comment, and I'll never go back to talking about it again. Bono once refused to shake my hand, and The Edge was maybe they're wonderful people, but in my interaction with both of them, I give them very low marks on being rather douchey. That's just something that I had to say. Maybe Phobos ran away again, but maybe he'll come back. I'm sorry, Ista. I didn't know that the YouTube thing. That's what broke that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Phobos has heard me talk about the weirdest shit ever, but that's where he draws the line. We talked about YouTube, he's done. It's over. So thank you, Toast the Host 23. We appreciate that. You
were talking about the movie Pump Up the Volume for some reason.
Pump Up the Volume. Okay, so the thing with Pump Up the Volume is it's a movie that couldn't get done today because it's actually about a guy who comes to town, and in a way he's like us. He does the night owl, you know what I mean? He's sitting around and doing basically like a podcast. He just sits around, talks about stuff that's happening in the school in his area. He's a teenager, and the FCC or whatever get upset, and it becomes some big scandal, and at some point he has to leave his home and start using a mobile shortwave station to try to still broadcast this thing, because at the time you don't have internet, you don't have phones, today every kid could just take his cell phone and do what that guy does, and it's not even a big deal. So the movie is so dated. You know what I mean? There aren't many movies that feel as dated as Pump Up the Volume. Let me see if I can find it. This is the trailer. Are you ready for the trailer for Pump Up the Volume? Which, again, at the time it was a real drama and everybody's into it. Now I think the movie would just be silly. Unintentionally, I guess, hilarious. So I am going to share this. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. It's rated R. See, it's his underground radio thing.
Think about it. Everything's polluted. The environment, the government, the schools, you name it. Good guys. We're on 92 FM tonight. It feels like a nice, clean little band. No one else is using it. Price is right.
Are you listening to this? Yeah, of course I'm listening.
do anymore. And all the great themes have been used up, turned into theme parks. So I don't really find it exactly cheerful to be living in a totally, exhausted decade where there's nothing to look forward to and no one to look up to.
He's got a pirate radio station. Nobody knows who he is.
I could be that anonymous nerd sitting across from you, and then you turn around, and he just looks away. He never looks back at you again.
This is a song for the 90s. Welcome to the Arena Central, man. Take your order, please. Yeah. I want.
Kind of like us, you know what I'm saying? But nobody makes some dramatic movie about us. Nobody cares about us.
I like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere uninvited, like a dirty thought in a nice, clean mind.
Yeah, people are saying he's Price of Reason. I watched this as a kid, and I was really excited. I wanted to be like this guy.
You have your pirate radio station?
Yeah, not only that, he's the pirate radio station. Find out who he is because he wants him. It's like, so many great things happening to this dude. You know?
It's me again with a little attitude for all you out here in white bread.
And then she was in Super Mario movie, which is weird.
I'm in jail. This radio person is the whole problem. Are we going to allow this guy to be heard by anyone who can turn a dial? I'm in jail. I'm going to stay here. I like it here.
And he's trying to tell you that there's something wrong with this school.
Man, you're not what you be. What do you want to slam me? Come on, Bill. I'm a big fan of yours. Get out.
It's out of control.
Why not do something crazy? It makes a hell of a lot more sense than blowing your brains out.
FCC, you know what that means?
This phone call is the trace.
This is my life.
Yeah, it's something to tune in late.
You know?
Not
It was the
anymore,
original
is it?
Night Owl.
This is everyone's life, Mark. You can't leave it like this.
You out there? You listening?
So I really liked this as a kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, dare to dream. The man can do his own radio show in the middle of the night. And it stayed with me. You know what I mean? I really wanted to be that guy. I loved that movie as a kid. But when I look at it now, it all seems, like I said, very few movies feel so dated than the guy that the whole movie is like, wow, he's got a microphone and he's doing his own stream. It's like, try to remake that movie today. You know what I mean? You can't do it. There's nothing you can do. It's like, it's a joke. You can't make the movie anymore.
In the trailer, that feels a lot like it feels a lot like the same character he played in Heathers.
He usually plays that character. Although, to be fair, he's pretty good at playing that character. I'll give him that.
The misfit.
I'll tell you this. People don't remember this now, but when the movie came out, people were like, wow, Christian Slater is like a young Jack Nicholson. Now, I know that sounds funny now, but that is what they said when he started appearing in movies. That was the type of things that people said about him. I don't think that his career trajectory went exactly in that direction, but I don't hate him as an actor. I think he's fine. I don't hate him.
Yeah. A lot of people tried to just sort of forget Christian Slater. He's just, he's a wannabe. He's not gonna, he's Jack Nicholson Jr. or something like. I don't know. I enjoyed. I mean, Heathers was a huge hit. When we were younger. That was one that a ton of people love to see, and of course it's got all kinds of cultural significance that came out of it. Even that people don't even know stuff that came from that movie.
I have to rewatch that one, but
yeah. No, it's. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a great film. It's not one of the great movies that was ever made, but it was very, very culturally significant when I was younger, and a lot of people loved it. And I thought he did really well. He was very enjoyable in that film. But yeah, he did a lot of other stuff. Sometimes he was pretty well received, and other times not so much. He was in remember right about the same time as that movie. He was in Robin Hood. right? Yeah, had that role in Robin
He
Hood.
was the brother of Kevin Costner.
Yeah, the younger brother, and then
Although to be fair, again, that's another movie that I think that at the time it came out, people were very forgiving. But in the
it's not a
movie,
great movie either.
it's not a great
It was-
movie. If you don't take it seriously and just enjoy it
Yeah.
for like the campy, whatever it is that it is, there's something you can enjoy about it. But I don't think it's held up in a way like you don't think today of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, like, wow, what a quality movie. It came out, it did whatever it did, and it was fine, I guess, but I don't know. So, and none of those guys, Kevin Costner doesn't even make a minimum effort to do an accent there. He's just like, fuck it. Like, sorry, Sean. I'm just going to be an American guy. Screw that. And I
Yeah.
think, like, Christian Slater, I don't think makes an effort either. He's like, well, he's not doing it. I'm not doing it. So
yeah,
there's a lot of inconsistency there.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. It performed really well. It was not a great film, but it performed really, really well. And I'll tell you why. This is one of those movies that is absolutely on the Mount Rushmore of the 4-quadrant film, right? Like, that was why that movie did so well, because they did a really solid job of putting in all the bits for all the different audiences that they were shooting for. So, there's the swashbuckling and the sword fights for the men under 25, and there's the romantic stuff in there for the young women, and then there's all of the, the themes of the Crusades and loyalty and, all the, the stuff in there for the older guys. And then, lots of, again, some of the narratives dealing with the families and the women and everything for the older ladies. Like, it's one of those like absolutely classic examples of the 4-quadrant film. Like, that is why it made the money that it did, because there was something in there for everybody, even if it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I guess I understand what you're saying, and it had the theme song and all that.
Yeah, and it had the theme song that was
what a
incredibly
cheesy
popular.
song.
That Bryan Adams,
Cheesy.
"Everything I Do."
Look into my eyes, you will see.
Oh God.
Na, na, na.
My mom had the single of that on cassette, and it was in our car like for months.
Not worth dying for. You couldn't get away with that song.
No, it was everywhere. It was absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, I'd die for you. Walk a mile for you. Or something like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Does he say walk a mile for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that really a
That
thing? Who cares if somebody walks a mile?
You.
Walk a mile for you? That's like, that
Yeah.
just feels like he had nothing to say in the song. He just didn't have a sentence. He's like, what do I say here? He's like, fuck it. Walk a mile for you.
Gotta
Because really,
rhyme it. Gotta rhyme.
I mean,
That's all that
the
matters.
thing is that like that's kind of a minimal
Bryan Adams.
effort. If there's like a woman who's like the the hottest woman and whatever, and like I have to walk a mile, it's not really a big deal. You know what I mean? It's like it's a pretty kind of low effort to have to walk a mile. Can somebody confirm that he says walk a mile for you?
I mean, God, I think I probably pissed some people off, but I think Bryan Adams is the definition of low effort when it comes to a performing artist.
He certainly is. He certainly is.
Everything. I mean, he's got a couple of others in there. There was that are a little bit better than the others. Gosh, it was.
Bryan Adams, what's it called?
He did the Heat of the Night, Summer of '69. Like, those are a little bit better, but yeah, most of the stuff is just pablum. It's
okay. Wait a second. There's something about a die for you and walk a mile for you. Oh man, I threw him under the bus.
Yeah,
I threw him under the bus, Professor.
Different lyrics.
All these years, I threw Bryan under the bus, Bryan Adams, and I was wrong. Let's see what it says here. It says, "I would fight for you. I'd lie for you. Walk the wire for you.
Walk the wire." Okay.
Yeah, I'd die for you." Because I always thought he's like, I'd lie for you, walk a mile for you. Yeah, I'd die for you. Or something like that. And it's like the whole walking the mile, I never got it. I'm like, this is really, you're not trying hard enough here, you know? But what I will say is that I agree with you that most of his songs are low effort. And you know why? Because he had the reverse problem of like Aerosmith and, some of those other bands we'd mentioned. What happened with him is that very early on, he released like a ballad. I know which one. The song, like, let's say, Run to You. It's not the worst song. Summer
No.
of '69, Halfway Decent. Those early albums, he had a few that were a little more like rock songs that were semi acceptable. His band is professional enough, like he's professional enough. But the thing that really like set him on the wrong course was what's it called? Baby, you're all that I want when I'm crying here in my arms. Baby, you love to the sea. We're in heaven. You know that one?
Yep.
That's the one that ruined his career because he released that and all the ladies started like throwing him like keys to their hotel rooms. And his accountant called him and he said, like, Brian, whatever you're doing, you should keep doing it. Look, we keep getting them checks. And then he's like, oh, sure, no problem. And he just continued to do that shit over and over again. Still, initially tried to do like a few rock songs, but when he saw, and I think that from the Robin Hood movie, when he saw the money that he made from that cheesy songs, that's
yeah.
all you got. You never got anything else. It's only like him making money with like ballads. That's it. He went the complete Aerosmith route, but at least Aerosmith can say, well, in the 70s, we were kind of rocking. You know what I mean? And I don't think that Bryan Adams has that on his track record.
Nope.
He's Canada's John Mellencamp.
Yeah, that's a really good description. Yes.
Yeah, the thing is that
mild-mannered and less successful. Yes.
John Mellencamp was actually the weirdest thing. So, and I've always found this kind of annoying. I don't know why. When this was happening, it was annoying. So when he came out, when he like was, his initial music came out, you had that like Jack and Diane song, which I guess when I was young, I didn't hate that song, even though over the years I don't like it as much. And his name was John Cougar. Okay, that was his name. So apparently his real name was John Mellencamp. But when he said to the record label, I'm John Mellencamp, they said, we can never sell that. It's a dumb name. So you're going to have to be like, John something else. How about John Cougar? That sounds like a little more like awesome because Mellencamp sounds lame and you'd be like an idiot. So if he wanted the deal, I guess he was forced to agree to be John Cougar and not John Mellencamp. But then, like, after he sold some records and he had some clout, he's like, listen, guys, you want me to continue to make music here? I don't know if maybe he went from one label to another or whatever it is, but when he renegotiated whatever it is, he's like, that's it. No more John Cougar. Now I'm John Cougar Mellencamp. Are you with me?
There you go. Yep.
So he couldn't remove the cougar altogether because then people wouldn't know that it's him. And then the next thing you know, like, I'm a kid. This is way too much information for me. Now they're telling me that John Cougar is John Cougar Mellencamp. And I'm like, why? Mellencamp sucks. You know what I mean? Like, who would like voluntarily want to add Mellencamp to something that already like you have a stage name? And I'm like a little kid and I'm thinking this. And I'm thinking this sucks. He's such a lame loser, And then afterwards, he did the final bait and switch. Once everybody knew him as John Cougar Mellencamp for like an album or two, he went to the next level and he's like, you know what? I'm not even Cougar anymore. I'm just John Mellencamp. How do you like them apples? So that's how we went from John Cougar to John Cougar Mellencamp to John Mellencamp. And you know what? I will still argue that John Mellencamp is a dumb name. And he probably lost some listeners along the way. I mean, I'm sure he does fine, but I would argue that he probably lost some listeners. There are probably some, housewives until today that are like, whatever happened to John Cougar?
Whatever happened to John Cougar?
Is Estefobos back or not? I mean, I see Tim Hayes say goodbye to him, but I don't see like, I don't see him. Oh, well.
He said he chimed in a minute ago saying it's Walk the Wire for you. So.
Oh, okay. Going back to vet again. Come on,
Yeah.
Ista. Don't leave. What are we gonna do without like the VIP of our channel? Like you can't go to sleep now. I don't know why this like YouTube thing broke him. Like out of all the stuff, the stupidest thing we've ever done. This is it. This is what broke Istaphobos. So crazy. So Mellencamp is stupid. That's what I have to say. And
it's not my favorite. He's got a few good songs here and there, but
so good. Come on, baby, know you put so good. Do the time you that it should, but it hurts so good.
It's so good.
That's such a lame song.
I have a connection to Mellencamp, just a small one, because I have a friend who that was like I can't remember which song it was, but there was a John Cougar Mellencamp song that during eventually his wife were one of their first dates, and it started like an inside joke between them about talking about his nickname Cougar and like how that happened, whatever. And then they ended up after they had their first son, they ended up giving him the nickname Cougar. So he still goes by Cougar because of this long running joke from when they were dating. So it's rather
so
funny,
weird.
but
come on, baby, it hurts so good. I never liked that. I don't know. It's very kind of cheesy. It's a cheesy thing. I could barely put up. I will say that Jack and Diane is like the furthest I'll go with John Cougar. It's John Cougar. I don't give a fuck. Fuck him. That's the most like that's the most that I'm willing to go. Like that's the most leeway I'm willing to give him. Jack and Diane. Also because you have the clapping and that's probably why. So somebody says Cougar
Little
Boys
Diddy.
politics probably bad. What is Little Diddy? Jack and Diane. Enough of the game. Almost like it feels like he really wanted to be like a cross between Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan or something. I don't really know how to explain it.
Could be. Yeah.
But not really like, again, I mean, Springsteen back in the day had a few like tolerable songs, but honestly, I think he's overrated too. I somehow rate Bruce Springsteen over John Cougar Mellencamp, and obviously I rate Dylan above them both, significantly above them both. Bob Dylan may not have the best like singing voice, but when it comes to like writing songs and like how he plays around with the lyrics and can like puts together songs, I do really respect his work. It's just that he has a voice that's kind of an acquired taste, maybe not for everybody, but I think some of his earlier material is pretty cool. I definitely have more more respect for Bob Dylan than I do for like Bruce Springsteen and
oh sure.
And like John Cougar, which I think are both sort of guys that wanted to be like him. Out of the ones that seemingly wanted to be kind of like Bob Dylan, Mark Knopfler is one that you could tell that kind of follows in his footsteps, but Mark Knopfler is awesome. So there's that. I think Mark Knopfler is a legit musician. Yeah. Once Mark Knopfler performed with Bob Dylan, and a friend of mine went to see that, and he didn't tell me that he was going to see it. And it kind of was a bummer because if I had known that I could buy tickets for it, I would have joined. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Kind of regret not seeing them both perform together. So that kind of bothers me. But shit happens.
Yep. Oh, I found out after the fact. Many years ago. Now, this is a little more dorky than that, but many years ago, I found out after the fact that I had a friend who had extra tickets to see a reunion concert with Simon and Garfunkel, who hadn't performed together for like 30 years, and had extra tickets. And I found out after that. He's like, oh, I was like, yeah, I couldn't. There was no way I could get tickets. She's like, oh, I had tickets. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's annoying.
God damn it. How did... Like, I'm not their biggest fans in the world, but damn, I would have been there. I would have gone to see that concert.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah, that's fine. So what else? What were we talking about? We've been all over the place tonight.
Wait, there's another super chat, and
we got another super chat. Super chat.
Yeah, okay. This has been one of the loosest format night owls we've ever had. People are like, "What are they talking about again?"
Nothing else.
Nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you. This is like, and I bet you that one guy on Locals is really surprised. Like,
I bet you're gonna go find out that one guy is like you. Like
I'm not logged in. I'm not logged in. I don't know how to even access it. So like
I went in to look at it earlier and like the chat doesn't even like work. It says live chat ended.
Oh,
it's like I don't know.
It's
like it launched and then the live chat like immediately disappeared.
Maybe because I was there before, but I didn't even go in. I don't even know. I've never
I'm
been.
in there right now, but there's like there's no live chat. There is video, but it's just the Rumble video.
If you click play on the video, let's see if it says that we have 2 viewers. That's the way we can tell for sure. But you did say that there's another person on Twitch, so.
But it also looks like the video ended after an hour.
That is so weird.
And we've definitely been going longer than that. I don't know.
Have to look into that. Murakstra, the Night Owl with Price of Reason and Professor R2. The dirty thoughts going into your nice, clean minds every Tuesday and Thursday. Join us. I think my thoughts are pretty pure. Pretty pure thoughts.
Dirty thoughts.
Dirty thoughts. I don't know.
Sure.
You're talking about like John Cougar. Yeah, I don't know. Never really spoke to me. John Cougar Mellencamp. So, how do we get to all? There was a reason why we went through all this stuff.
Was there? Do we need a reason?
We don't need anything. So, okay. A few things. Now I can start focusing. Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's start off by the Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. Still doing really well. It is starting to taper off, but still doing very well in theaters. Yeah.
So here, I'll show you something. This is an article from. I think it was already from. I mean, now we're after midnight, but I saw it in the past 24 hours and I thought it was interesting. So let me just show you this article. We don't have to go over it, but the idea is suddenly the Hollywood Reporter, Project Hail Mary, how Ryan Gosling's box office hit and marketing marvel made Amazon MGM the surprise studio star of CinemaCon. And the thing is, this is what I was just trying to tell you, that they're like, oh, so surprised. Oh, like, what did they do this movie that like made it work? Why is this one successful? And like all this analysis, it always annoys me when these jerk-offs like pretend to write an article. We don't need 70 articles to explain why the movie did well. It's based on a book from a guy that actually writes books, not some like idiot that doesn't know how to write a story. So that's a start. The book, as the author himself stated, he's not really subscribing to that kind of modern day agenda peddling. He just wanted to tell a story. That's what the movie does, and audience connected to it. Instead of like going out and saying, Hollywood, we got to do better. People like movies that are escapist and they don't want to be lectured to. And we were all stupid and we drove our own industry into the ground because we're a bunch of fuckfaces. That's what the article should be. But instead it's like, well, gee willikers, how did they do it? How did they pull it off? Like, oh, they got some real good marketing people working on it themselves. It's like, shut the fuck up. Sometimes
it could have just been that they took a book that was very popular with its audience that came from an author who has already made a big box office hit with The Martian and decided, hey, let's put some solid producers and some solid directors behind this, and let's adapt a book that's already got a proven audience from an author who already has a proven track record of having some solid adaptation to the theater. Imagine what could happen if we did that. Wow.
Hey, Ron Donafero, I didn't know you were here. Nice to see you. So, yeah, so they're all like so surprised. Oh, it's the sleeper hit movie. Is it a sleeper hit? A lot of people saw the trailer and thought, well, if it's, people even that read the book and stuff, people are like, oh, I'm excited to see it. Looks like they're going to stay true to the book. There's a lot of like positive buzz bleeding into it. And then they're like, oh, it was really all this marketing. They did such good marketing. And it's like, no, they actually didn't have to do any of that shit. This is all shit. All they needed to do was make a movie that didn't piss off people, did the story based on a book that people already knew with an author that's already popular with like science fiction readers. This all makes sense. This is not the type of thing that you write an article marveling about the wonder of how this all happened. This is the type of article that you need to write. We fucking suck. We're idiots and we're sorry. For the past 10 years, we helped run this entire industry into the ground, and this movie is proof that we suck and that we should apologize for not reporting the news as it is, but just saying a bunch of shit for 10 years. That's what the Hollywood Reporter should say, but they're never going to do that. They're like, well, it's really it's amazing how it only dipped for this amount from weekend to weekend and blah. What's it amazing? Movies that connect with their audiences can do well in the theater.
Yeah. Movies that do not actively try to offend a particular part of the audience. Movies that respect their audience in a way. Like, again, I'm not going to say this is one of the best movies ever made. It's not. It definitely has a lot of weak points, but it is a very enjoyable movie.
It's enjoyable.
It's got a lot out there for adults and for kids. It's a good film. It's an enjoyable film. It's not one of the great pantheon of, this is not The Godfather. It's not 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's not even, some of the best of the, Marvel films or something that were made, but it's still good and it's fun and it's enjoyable. It's got some interesting characters and there's something there culturally to latch onto and that we can share. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all that it's performed well. Again, I was one that read the book, well before we listened to it, or, some people get upset when I say read, listened to the book in the car with my family, and really enjoyed it and was excited when I heard they were going to be making this into a movie. I thought, that's great. I hope they're finding some good people who can capture the humor, who can find a way to edit this movie down. I thought there were places where they edited out stuff that should have been left in from the books, and they took stuff out and added things, that weren't in the book that were there that were a waste of time. I thought it was a little slow, but at the same time, I think that even if you were to make the movie a little bit longer and it change the pacing of it a little bit, maybe it wouldn't feel that way. Maybe it wouldn't feel like it starts to drag. I don't know. But
so now they continue to explain.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you said, by the way, but I'm continuing to look at this, why this is annoying me. You said, like, again, they don't want to address the elephant in the room, so they're like,
you made a movie with a good story. Imagine
right,
that bringing people to the theater.
Right. So first of all, what they do is they're like, first of all, let's make it clear. Amazon are not always winners. They had the movie Mercy, they had Crime 101, and those underperformed. To be fair, though, I'll tell you this. Both of those movies, in my opinion, were lower budget than Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary, they knew they had a good screenplay on their hands. They actually invested more money in it. And Mercy seemed like a lower budget effort. It probably cost them something, but it seemed a little lower budget effort. Crime 101, Mercy, I saw it because I was invited. I think I saw like an early screening. It was fine. I mean, it's a stupid movie. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really stupid, but as kind of a dumb popcorn movie that like I forget about the second I walk out, I was able to tolerate it. It is preposterous. It has a lot of issues. Crime 101, I wonder to myself if I even gave it a passing grade. I think maybe I barely gave it a passing grade. It wasn't a good movie, but I don't know. It was the bare minimum of just doing some shit. Crime 101, I didn't go see it. I know how awful this sounds, and say it all the time. I had a chance to see Crime 101 a little bit before it came out, like a special screening, and I saw that it starred Mark Ruffalo, so I didn't feel like seeing it. I know it had Chris Hemsworth, Halle Bailey, and Halle Berry, and Mark Ruffalo, but Mark Ruffalo for me is like, I don't want to make an effort to see a movie with him. I can't. I don't want to use negative language. I don't want to use any kind of negativity.
Sure.
I don't prefer his acting. I don't prefer, seeing him in a movie. I'm okay with not seeing him in a movie. Maybe there will be a case like Spider-Man, whatever that movie is, that I'm curious to see, and I'll have to tolerate that Mark Ruffalo is in it. But generally speaking, if there's any kind of movie or show that like Mark Ruffalo has a pretty lead role, like something that I have no investment in, and he's the one that like needs to carry it, I prefer like not to watch it. I just don't want to see the guy.
Agreed.
It's fine. I mean, if you like him, you can watch Mark Ruffalo. It's fine. I just don't. I have no patience for that. Like I've never thought he was a good actor, and now all I can think about is all his like politics, the 24/7 he babbles about. Just intolerable.
I'm pretty sure that between takes, he just sits on a beanbag chair in the corner and drools. I'm pretty sure.
That is probably what happens.
Yeah.
So then they're like, then the next thing, the way they explain why this did well is because Ryan Gosling is a marketing wizard. Okay. Gosling was a hands-on creative leader and partner throughout the Hail Mary campaign, and observers note it worked because there was an inherent alignment between Gosling's persona and the film itself. His humor, intelligence, and the understated charisma are embedded in the DNA of the film, notes one rival studio executive. Oh, shut up. This has nothing to do with that. In fact, like one of the things that I worried about going into the movie was Ryan Gosling. He was not the viral king that made me think, oh, this is going to be a great movie because Ryan Gosling is in it. I thought to myself, can this still be a great movie when Ryan Gosling is in it? That's what I was thinking. Because for me, he's very kind of subdued and he's not extremely charismatic. I don't think that he's the worst if there's like good actors around him, but knowing how much he had to carry in this movie acting wise, I actually didn't have a good feeling about it. Not because I didn't like the idea or didn't think that, I heard good things about the book and I heard a lot of interesting things from people that I trust, but actually Ryan Gosling was a part that I'm like, well, how is he going to carry this movie? So I give him props. He did. He's not the guy that got like everybody running to the theater. That's not the reason people went. And I think also a lot of the movie's successes is word of mouth. It started off with a pretty good weekend, but then every weekend, like the drop wasn't so great. Like a lot of more people heard about it and wanted to see the movie. That's why until now it has legs. That's why it's been doing well. They're like, read on for Hail Mary's marketing tactics, which included press tours to London, Paris, and Mexico City. That's what all movies do. You know what I mean? Like all movies have some press tour where they go to these places and talk. There's nothing special about it. Oh, they created shareable moments driven by Gosling, including his SNL hosting gig. Who gives a shit? Nobody watches SNL. Nobody gives a shit. That is not what made this movie succeed. Hollywood Reporter can go fuck themselves. That is not the reason the movie succeeded. Not because he went to SNL and not because he did press in London and Mexico City. These are not the reasons why the movie did well. Every movie, the star goes on SNL, a show that nobody gives a shit about, and goes to talk to people in like London and Mexico City. I'm sure that does whatever it does. That is not what causes like a worldwide box office success like we're seeing from this movie, which basically surpassed. People were thinking, oh, well, it's not even going to break even. It broke even. It's not losing money. It's at the point now where it's making money. And this is from Amazon, who will then now exclusively or whatever it is, have it a while on their streaming service. They're going to benefit from it from every single direction. I think that in their case, in their specific case, in Amazon's case, this could be seen as a win.
Yeah. Do remember that this is the Hollywood press. So every film is equally as well written as well acted, as fantastic and everything as every other film. They don't even consider those things. The only thing they think about is who's in it, what kind of politics did they squeeze into the movie, and did they make sure to meet the DEI quota, right? Like it can never be that the film was actually good or bad is why it performed the way that it did.
They have to come up with a million
another
excuses.
factor. Yeah, it's always some other excuse. It's always some other factor. Oh, well, they had the right, diverse cast. That's why this movie performed. Or alternately, they had a diverse cast, which is why this movie didn't perform. Right? That's the more common way that they take it. This movie failed because they had a diverse cast. Paul Feig's Ghostbusters 2016, it failed because it was a female-driven movie, not because it was horrible garbage. It was a dumpster fire of a film. That didn't matter. It only did not perform well because it had women in it, and maybe it wasn't marketed well or whatever. Right? It's always this way with these articles from the Hollywood press. It's absurd.
Absolutely. And then they continue all this stuff. Like, he made a promotional video. They showed it during the NFL, blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? None of this matters. Every movie that comes out, the stars go around and do a bunch of stuff. Like, this is not anything that causes anybody to go watch a movie. It had nothing to do with, like, Ryan Gosling, going on SNL. All of this is really dumb. So I reject any of this nonsense, and it's funny because all they have to do is one thing. They could have written in a paragraph what I told you. We fucking suck. We ruin the industry. And when you put a movie on that's escapist, not propaganda, people enjoy it. That's why this movie did well. It's also based on a book that people like with an author that people respect. That's all you need. But they don't want to do it. It's too easy. They don't want to. They can't accept it. They're like short circuiting. They don't know how are they going to explain this? The other thing is that this movie that's not a franchise, it's not a franchise. It's not Superman. You know what I mean? It may end up with like a better box office run than Superman and more profitable. And as opposed to Warner Brothers, yes, Warner Brothers has like HBO Max, but Warner Brothers is a business that also wants to release movies that are hits in the movie theater. Amazon, you could argue, mainly make movies because, at least for a long time, it was because they wanted to be on their service, and they have so much money that they could just throw some money on these productions so they could say it comes with Prime because they have billions to throw around. It's not really the same thing as like Warner Brothers. You know what I mean? And even so, this movie is embarrassing Superman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, and apparently, now they're like, oh, it was the surprise winner of CinemaCon. Blah, blah. What's the surprise winner? Why? What did you expect would happen there? You have Supergirl, you have Doomsday, and you have this thing that actually succeeded. So everybody's excited. What do you want to do? Those other things are like failing franchises. Let's see for a second. We have another super chat. So I don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss a thing. I don't even remember the words. To miss you. I don't want to miss a thing. It's so annoying.
Close my eyes. Don't want to fall asleep.
Terrible. Too many words here, Professor.
Terrible. Oh, God. I think there was a space of time when I think I ended up watching, because it was like hanging out with friends, different groups of people, whatever, that we ended up, I ended up watching that movie like 3 times in the same week. And also at the time, so when that movie came out, when Armageddon came out, I was, I was a younger man at the time, and I was working in a restaurant. And so in the back, in the kitchen, it always had like the top 40 radio playing. And so that song was on like every 15 minutes. I swear to God. So I heard that song non-stop for months. It was awful.
Complete disgrace of a song. But
terrible.
yeah, so Rondon Afero sent a super chat. Yes, when will Hollyweird start making enjoyable movies again instead of ones that torque everyone off? Your guess is as good as mine, Ron. Ron was a friend of the channel. Also did some streams with us. He has been doing Bionic streams, and this week we're going to be doing our final Bionic stream as part of the Bionic saga. I'm like James Gunn, the Bionic saga.
What's this week's?
This week is the pilot episode, the first and second episodes of the Bionic Woman.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you did the $6 Million Man, and then the episodes where she gets introduced into the Bionic Man.
Well, what happens is that first of all, we did the pilot for the $6 Million Man, and that was an interesting pilot. Not the best.
Interesting. Yeah, I was there that night. That was not interesting.
You were there for that one. I remember now.
that was one of the worst pilots I've ever seen. That was like terrible. It was boring as hell. Like, when is this over? Though. When is it over? I know, because the show is fun. The show is good. Like they change the formula and they have a different tone for the show when they actually get to the like weekly episodes. It's a much better show. But man, that pilot was dull. It was just emotional, just emo, like sitting around moping about now I'm bionic. Oh, it's the worst thing.
Steve, you'll be able to touch a woman once again.
And she won't know that you have a mechanical arm. It's like, what?
She'll think that you're a natural man, Steve, and you can hold her again. It's such weird dialogue. It was like the weirdest thing, that whole
it's a terrible pilot. But yeah, the show ended up being fun, but the pilot, man, was really rough.
Right. But at least we enjoyed the stream, though. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. At least we were all on the same page. There wasn't anyone there going, no, this is the best pilot ever.
No, nobody was saying that. But then the next thing that happened is they had an episode that they introduced. It was a double episode where they introduced Lindsay Wagner as Steve's girlfriend and then fiance, who then becomes the Bionic Woman. But in those two episodes, at the end of it, spoiler, she dies. So initially she was just supposed to die and that would be the end of it. But it was at the end of a season and then everybody, complained and wanted her back. So they first of all tried to explain why she didn't die in one of the strangest retcons ever. So that's, what they had to do first. They had to make it that she returns. She's back. She's not as dead as you thought she was. She's back. And now, finally, after we did that, she gets her own pilot for her own episodes. And that's what we're doing this week. So it is fun to review it. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, I think that both $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman were at their best. Once you drop these kind of early episodes and just get into the fun, there's fun to be had there.
Yep.
Anyhow,
well, you're gonna have to let me know when you get to the Glenn A. Larson pilots. Save those for this summer when I can be around, so we can.
All right.
Watch a bunch of those other, because of course, yeah, he did make $6 Million Man, but he also did Battlestar Galactica, and he did Buck Rogers, and he also did Magnum PI. I guess you already did Knight Rider. That was another Glenn Larson.
That was a fun one. Rhonda Mithrow says she died, but then she got better, just like Spock. Yes, that's true. But so let's see for a second. What else? There was something else. Let me see that I didn't forget. Wait a second. Maybe I bookmarked something.
Yeah, whenever you get around to Buck Rogers, there's some gorgeous women in that show, especially the pilot.
I thought there was something else, but where were we?
Yep.
Where were we? Okay, so Project Hail Mary keeps winning. Yep. We went over that.
Yeah, it's been doing really well. Like right now, I think what is it? It's 575 almost worldwide box office. Obviously, that's the the reported budget for the film was 200, and I'm guessing they were probably relatively close to that. There's nothing about the production that makes me think that this had massive reshoots and overruns and stuff like that. It seems like it was a pretty well ordered, pretty straightforward production. Not a lot of complications and reshoots and stuff involved. And so, yeah, I'm guessing the budget's probably pretty close to that. And then, if they're probably gonna break 600, at the end of this week, maybe they don't. But if they get, 600 would be a 300%. That'd be a 3x over the budget. So I'm guessing that's going to be more than enough to cover any of their, not just their costs for the production, but any marketing as well. So yeah, this movie's definitely doing well. But I would say this movie is really outperforming where they thought this movie thought it would land, right? Sort of they do that prediction cone, right? Best, the average and the best and worst, whatever kind of performance. And this is really topping out. It's not over, way overperforming, but it's kind of topping out. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It's kind of, at the very top of that, best possible expected outcomes. And so it's doing really well, but still it's only probably going to bring in 600. I really have to wonder, what does that mean for other movies coming out this summer? Right? If this movie is doing really great and it's bringing in families, it's bringing in kids, it's bringing in repeat views, I just don't know what else this summer is gonna do that much better.
Well, this one is not a franchise.
No, it's not a franchise. You're right.
So, I mean, it had a bigger uphill battle. That's why I think that the achievement here is really great, because it's not like something where you say, like I said, Superman making the same money as this only highlights why James Gunn had a problematic Superman. I think that when you have something like Superman, you can't make the same as Project Hail Mary. You know what I mean? You already have some people that know what that is and are supposed to want to go see it. It also supposed to appeal to more families and more ages. This movie had a much harder time getting people to go see it, and I really think that this is a word of mouth situation. This is and that's something that we used to see more in movies, that there would be a movie that you didn't hear of, you didn't really know, but people are like, well, I saw this movie, I really enjoyed it, and then people are like, oh, I'll go see that movie. So there's something to be said about when a movie is good and connects with people, and then they go and tell other people that it's a good movie and they should go watch it. And I do feel like this movie, like you said, it's not The Godfather, but it gets the job done, and certainly escapist and a fun movie to see in the theater, and that's how it did well. So yeah, I'm not saying that nobody else can make money or more money. I mean, keep in mind, this is a first movie. It's not an established franchise. It's just, whatever it is. For keeping all of that in mind, I think this is a very nice result.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And
now
I think, like I said, I don't know exactly what it pretends for the box office for other stuff later this year, but, honestly, I think this is going to do better than Supergirl. I don't think Supergirl's gonna do well at all. I'm thinking probably Supergirl's gonna bring in Thunderbolt's numbers, probably 450.
I think so too. I think that Supergirl will be 400 to 500. Totally see that happening.
Yeah, just under 500, and then I still don't think Doomsday is going to be that.
The only thing that could change it, and it's unlikely. The only thing that could change it is, let's say there's some opening weekend, everybody goes to see Supergirl, and people come out saying this is the best thing we've ever seen. The kind of word of mouth that it's absolutely consensus, everybody's on board, and it's the best thing that ever happened to them. That's the only way. And I don't know, I until now I'm not convinced that James Gunn has the right vision, and that's why I'm not sure. I don't think that's the case.
If it has brilliant word of mouth, if it's a good movie, sure, it does better than that. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be a good movie. I don't think it's going to have brilliant word of mouth. I think a lot of people are going to go see it. A lot of people are going to be like, well, that was a movie.
I think you're right.
They're not going to be talking it up to their friends. They're not going to be dragging their kids to the theater or dragging friends to go see it a second time. It's just, Yeah, they'll see it. They'll be like, well, that happened. And then they're going to move on. And then everyone's going to call the audience sexist and all sorts of nasty names. They're going to pull out the usual, the usual suspects and be attacking the audience for, being sexist and not going to see this female driven movie or whatever. But no one's going to buy it. So
I agree, and I agree with your assessment. I think 450 or 400 to 500. That's I think where it's going to land. Now, I guess there's an article in Yahoo. I don't know what it says. Evangeline Lilly is not in Avengers Doomsday for now, whatever that means. That makes sense. They don't like her, and she's like not part of their propaganda so much.
I think I thought this has been known for a while now.
They don't like her. She didn't bow down to them or whatever it is. And then apparently they're like, oh, Lady Thor is not in Avengers Doomsday. I would think that, Natalie Portman is a headache in and of herself. I could see why she suddenly wouldn't be in this movie. And honestly, I don't think anybody would give a shit if she wasn't in it. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody cares. I personally have still never finished Thor Love and Thunder. I'm not going to lie to you. I've never finished the movie. I don't care about her. I think that, I actually am against that they brought her back, even to do the whole Lady Thor thing. All of this was shit. I never liked it.
It was bad.
And I don't care about her. She's another one of those actresses. When the prequels came out, I guess I liked her enough, and like Leon the Professional or whatever it is. But she hasn't been in a decent movie in a long time. And honestly, like there's just something about her that I find very snooty and annoying. And it's not for me. I also don't think she's the greatest actress either. I really don't have a lot of good things to say about her. And out of all the things that I don't have great to say about her, although I didn't mind her in the first two Thor movies, and I didn't mind her in the prequels, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. She's just annoying these days. And if she's not in Doomsday, I couldn't care less.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of sad that Evangeline Lilly's taking a break, because I actually like she's taking a hiatus from acting right now. She's not taking any work. But yeah, she's I've always liked her. I thought she was lovely, and thought she did a great job in Lost and some of the other stuff that she's done. But I think you're right. I think she was not what they wanted, because she is a woman, but she's not been an evangelist for all their leftist causes. She's not been one that stands up and does a lot of that, feminist and leftist stuff. But recently she fell and had a head injury, and so she's been recovering from that as well. So but she's been taking a break from acting just to be with her family and stuff. I'm not sure I blame her. I'm sure she's got plenty of money.
The Real Head Case says, haven't seen Flop and Plunder. The thing is, out of all the MCU movies, I know that it may not be the worst one, but it's the only one that I can think of that I didn't finish. Not because I didn't want to finish the movie. I mean, I didn't want to finish it. I thought it sucked, but I wanted to watch it just for the sake of being able to say that I watched it and being knowledgeable. It's just that I think that out of all the MCU movies, the most of them I actually saw almost all of them in the theater when they came out. For some reason, Thor: Love and Thunder, I didn't get a chance immediately when it came out. And then I guess just maybe everybody was saying how crappy it was, and I guess I wasn't in a rush to see it. I finally, I think, put it on when it was like, on one of those streaming services or whatever it is. I ended up like putting it on, falling asleep in the middle. And man, I really wanted to, just for the sake of saying I saw it, I wanted to go back and see it until the end. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I don't know what's wrong with me, Professor. Like, I should be able to watch, even if it's shit, I should be able to watch it until the end just one time. I couldn't do it. Although recently also with Daredevil, I started watching it, and I think I'm already behind a few episodes like that I stopped watching. I want to watch it just so I know, but man, it's really testing my patience, this show.
This one, Price, since we haven't been talking about it, nobody else is. There's literally no one on YouTube is really talking about it. Like, I watched the first episode. I started the second one, and then I had to pause it. I had to take care of something. I never came back. I haven't watched another one of this season. I just don't care. And from what I'm hearing from other people of this season of Daredevil, like it's not even the Daredevil show; it's the Karen Page.
Yeah, that's
show.
what happened to me. I think that there was an episode that I only watched half of, and Ista was saying something about how that it's so awful that all the ladies are now stepping up and whatever. And I didn't know exactly what he meant, but then I finished the episode he was talking about, and like in the last like 20 minutes, like every second there was something like that, and I'm like, I understand. Yeah, it's a lot of girl bossing around here, and it's starting to get annoying. Somebody said here sucks that Patrick Muldoon died. Yeah, that was really
Yeah, I saw
surprising. He
that.
wasn't old. I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, heart attack. You know, that can get lots of people. Yeah.
Wait a second. Tomahawk. I actually don't think you're right about that, Tomahawk, but that's a different conversation.
I enjoyed Ragnarok. I liked Ragnarok. I did not mind.
No, that's not what I meant. He was saying something about Natalie Portman.
Oh,
I think if she was that, she'd be a very poor one. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
She's very much like very much like most of Hollywood in their politics. If you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. No, to his other comment. Ragnarok.
No, Ragnarok. Listen, Ragnarok, when it came out and I saw it in the theater, I didn't mind it. I'm like, okay, this is fine. Like, I was okay with it, but I thought that it was kind of a one-off where they were trying something different.
It should have been a one-off.
Right.
Yeah.
It taught them all the wrong lessons. If all we had was Ragnarok and then it went back to doing what it does, and we had one movie that's kind of quirky, I would have thought, okay, so they played with it a little, they tried something different, and I would have been okay with it. But once they said, okay, let's have all our movies be like this now, that's where the problem started. And it rewarded them for this silliness, and I don't like that reward. They learned the wrong lessons from it, even though in isolation it's not necessarily a bad movie, as much as it was kind of an anomaly that taught them all the wrong lessons. So.
Yeah, exactly. So that was, people complained it was too jokey and silly and made a joke out of Thor and whatever. Look, even in the comic books, there's occasionally there's a run where somebody else comes in and they go on some just unhinged, ridiculous, wacky, like it gets absurd, right? And so you can do that, but you always have to come back to the character, like being taken seriously and being a hero and whatnot. And so I was fine with Ragnarok. I had fun with Ragnarok. I didn't mind it. I enjoyed that it was this sort of off the wall, silly thing, and it was very quippy and fun. But I thought that all of the actors were doing a good job in it. They were having fun with it. But no, the next movie should not have been another quippy, just goofy thing. And in fact, they like you said, they learned all the wrong lessons. They took everything that Taika Waititi did in that movie and then just let him go wild with it, where we have screaming goats and absurd powers and all sorts of stuff. And the thing is that they completely wasted Christian Bale coming in and doing Gore the God Butcher. That's a dark ass story. Like, that would have been an excellent way to tell that story. A really, really dark, serious tone to the film, with that character. And they got a good actor to play Gore the God Butcher, but instead it's just this ridiculous, goofy, stupid thing. And then in the end he's shown up by women and then gives up being a warrior to raise a daughter and all sorts. It's like, oh, please, just all the wrong lessons in that, as you said. So the Thor, Putin, the Thor movies didn't all need to be serious. They had their silly things, their ridiculous things. Strugan says Thor got bossed around by two women in Ragnarok. It was cringe. See, the thing is, he's the fish out of water in that situation. He spends most of the film. He's got the little zapper thing in his neck where they can, disable him and whatever. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening in there that puts him at a disadvantage compared to where he normally would be. He doesn't have his hammer. He's depowered. He's, again, the fish out of water. A lot of that is, it puts him at a disadvantage to what everyone else is doing in the film. I think it works. I enjoyed it. Not everyone did. And again, we can agree to disagree. People who didn't like Ragnarok, that's cool. I get it. I understand. You maybe didn't like the tone of it or whatever. Oh no. Oh, Price is going there with the Savant.
So apparently the Savant is finally getting released.
And, yes, it is.
I am totally fine with it. I'm waiting for this show. I'm going to review this show. I hope it gives me something to work with so I can do my weekly reviews and maybe some people will find them funny and interesting. Just give me something to work with. It's been a while since we had something, and I think that Savant is going to deliver on that for some reason.
It will. It's not returning right away. It's not coming back till July.
I'm ready for it.
So yeah, it starts airing in July. That is assuming that there aren't any more conservative, people who are unalived before then.
I wonder if they re-edited or re-shot something or did anything. Really curious about that. But in any case, and I'm still curious who that one man on Locals is. Still waiting to find out more. And also who that guy on Twitch is. You said you knew his name. We have one person on Twitch. One of them is you. The other one, I don't know who it is.
Jacko Boom, following since 2 hours ago. So it was when you started. I bet it's someone in our other chat.
Probably somebody just went to
YouTuber Rumble who had an account and hopped over there and found you
just to see if it was true.
Just like I did.
I guess so. Yeah. So we're really making it big on Twitch and on Locals.
Blowing up. We're blowing up.
We're blowing up on Locals and Twitch, bro.
What else did we have? We were going to talk. Let's see. We really kind of already talked about Doomsday. Kind of the only other thing really on the docket was talk about Supergirl.
Yes, and I'll tell you why I want to talk about it. That I actually started working on a video for it, but I've been very busy and I haven't had a chance to really record and edit a video about that. But what I wanted to tell you is that there have been so many little ploys by James Gunn recently, all to try to generate some buzz for his Supergirl movie. And the one that annoyed me the most was this whole thing with Adria Arjona. Did I tell you my theory about this?
Well, I think we've talked about it before, but we can go into it again.
Well, I don't know if I explained that basically, if I did that, I'm sorry. It's a late hour, but I felt that way even stronger today than before, and I'll tell you why. Let me see where I found this. There was something about James Gunn. James Gunn. See if I can find the article. Let's see if there was the cast photo. There was this big thing that shows the cast of I don't know. Do you know where it was? The cast of Man of Tomorrow.
Oh, but there was an interview thing, or was it at CinemaCon?
Let's see for a second. Cast Man of Tomorrow. Okay, 1 second. So this is it. I'll try to show you this. The usual shills. I don't even know if this is an official thing. Maybe more of a shill thing. So what's happening now is that James Gunn is trying to continue to make it seem like everything is so great and he's building this new Man of Tomorrow and explaining how exciting it is. And I feel like this is kind of a diversion from the Supergirl situation in general. Now, one of the things is that leading up to the CinemaCon, there was this kind of rumor that went to the press where apparently James Gunn was gonna audition ladies for the role of Maxima. And then what happened was like a well-timed uh string of shill reports and stuff. First of all, you had Jeff Snyder saying, "Hey, it may be that Maxima is actually Wonder Woman, and it's almost like a bait and switch. So he's not actually casting Maxima; he's casting Wonder Woman." I believe that James Gunn sometimes just releases this information through the proper channels, quote unquote, so that the shills get like the tip off. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah.
And then run with the story. I really feel that James Gunn wanted this story to be planted in that exact way. Then, meanwhile, the Hollywood Reporter starts quoting this Snyder guy and a few other people, and he's like, "Wow, James Gunn is interviewing these ladies, like auditioning them for a role. They're Maxima. Some people saying it could be Wonder Woman." And like James Gunn comes out and he said, "This is shoddy reporting. How dare you? How dare you say that I'm auditioning these ladies for this role?" And then 2 days later, it's confirmed that Adria Arjona is playing Maxima. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so strange the way it all happened. Like, first of all, this, then that, then like he's denying it. Now he's confirming it. And when did it confirm? When did they confirm that she was going to be Maxima / maybe Wonder Woman? When did they confirm it? As he's sitting in like CinemaCon, they confirmed this right then. Right then, all the pieces of the puzzle came together. Why? Because he wanted there to be some chatter and buzz. Wow, James Gunn already has his Wonder Woman. Now, the truth is, we don't know that he's ever going to make a Wonder Woman. We don't know that anybody's going to give him money to make a Wonder Woman. She could be cast now in Man of Tomorrow, and they could maybe film it in a way that she's some other character called Maxima, with a hint that she could actually bait and switch be Wonder Woman or not. But at the end of the day, he wanted this chatter. This is the exact chatter and buzz that he wanted, and he got exactly what he wanted. He went to CinemaCon, and people are like, "Wow, there's a new Wonder Woman." The only thing is that I don't think that this is all strong enough. I don't think people care. I don't think that that's enough to get people excited. It's certainly some form of damage control because nobody cares about Supergirl or Man of Tomorrow, so it's some kind of carrot in the stick type of situation. But I don't think he benefited really. What do you think?
No, I don't think it's benefited anybody at all. This is just ridiculous. Yeah, the whole like 180 where you're an asshole if you think that we're out there, getting these, characters, and then they turn around and yeah, oh no, yeah, she has been cast. And also on top of that, there's been industry rumors going around that he was looking at her for Wonder Woman anyway. Right? Like these industry rumors have been going on for a while. So yeah, is it possible that this is sort of a backdoor? They're putting this Maxima character in, who's a warrior princess or whatever. That is in fact, yeah, we're gonna hide the the casting of Wonder Woman, so it's some kind of surprise or something. Like, I don't care. I'll be honest. I don't think he gets to make a Wonder Woman movie. I think Man of Tomorrow will be the last project under James Gunn at DC. I think
he's going to try to shove in all these characters into it. Like, who cares about all these characters? Although I can't tell if this is a rumor, if these guys really know that they're going to be there. But it's assumed that for different reasons, it's assumed that most of these actors are going to be in this movie. And you know what? I don't think they need to be. I don't need the Justice Gang in there again. I really hope he doesn't put them in there. That's that annoying architect. I don't think we need her. There's so many things here that are just unnecessary.
Yeah, there's a lot that feels very unnecessary. The cast here is it's in IMDb. I don't know how much of that is available for just anybody to edit. This is my understanding that you had to be you have to pay like for an industry account or something like that, like have a verified like agent account or something. Be able to put people's names on a project. So these people are listed on IMDb. So
there have been shenanigans in the past, but generally speaking, you got to have some kind of tie to the thing that you're doing. I've actually done stuff on IMDb before where I like updated. Never mind. But in any case, But you're right though. I can update stuff that I'm involved in. I can't update things, for other people. So you're not wrong in your assessment. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Is you had to have some sort of connection to certain stuff to be able to actually edit it and put stuff in there. So I'm guessing that there's probably some truth behind these people who have been hired for these different roles.
The whole
a lot of them are people that are just coming back from the previous movie. I mean, the same actor for Jimmy Olsen, for Lois Lane, for Lex Luthor, for Clark Kent Superman, for Mr. Terrific, for the Engineer, Brainiac. Is one that is a new one that they've hired for this Lars Eidinger. They're going to have Aaron Pierre in there, who's playing Jon Stewart in the Lanterns show. So apparently he's going to be in there, along with Nathan Fillion, who's coming back. Isabella Merced is coming back. But then they also do list Adria Arjona as in that cast. So yeah, I don't know, but I would assume it's true.
Don't know what to tell you either, but all I know is that I don't think that even the team up with Superman and Lex Luthor, I don't think that's earned either. I think that you needed
stupid.
to establish Superman as his own character in his own world. And then, if he's already established and you've had him for a while, and suddenly, after you have a number of movies that they're sworn enemies, suddenly Lex Luthor has to team up with Superman, then there's a reward. You know what I mean? Because you weren't expecting it, and now they're doing it, and let's see how that plays out. But right now, it's just after one movie, which didn't even really do much good for either of these characters, and now to have them team up, it's just whatever. It all just feels so all over the place, and I don't think James Gunn really has this down properly. And all these games with Adria Arjona and the press and all of his damage control and spinning and whatever and trying to create buzz with the CinemaCon, it all just kind of, to me, seems desperate. He knows this thing isn't working well, and he's trying every trick in the book to try to put a positive spin on all this. I don't know why that annoys me. It annoys me that none of these people are and no longer allowed to be humbled or say that they made a mistake or apologize or anything. Maybe if he acted like a real person and not like the way he does and admitted, certain failures, maybe people would be a little nicer to him. But this idea that you can't say that something is a failure when it failed just annoys me.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you're just not allowed to say those types of things. But this movie, like you said, this movie's not earned through the characters, the stories that they've been telling. And you're also right. The promotion for this and the promotion for Supergirl not working. If you listen to Alan and Chris from Film Threat, you listen to what they had to say from CinemaCon. The DC Studios stuff was the worst presentation they saw the whole time they were there. It was an absolute mess. Nothing seemed to be working right. Nothing they had to show was worthwhile or interesting. It was a mess. And everyone left oh no, this is not going to go well for, these next couple of films in the DC, the Gunn's, DCU. Again, I think that Man of Tomorrow probably going to be his last project. Remember that the ownership of the studio is very likely going to be changing very soon, and their direction for where they want to go with a lot of these films and these different IPs is going to change as well. And I think that Gunn is toast.
On his way
I think after Man of Tomorrow, there will be no more Gunn produced anything.
That's also why there's been these rumors of that he himself, in my opinion, spreads through his people and PR people and shills. He's I'm going to leave when I'm good and ready. Like I don't want to even be here working with this type of man in charge. I'm gonna have to leave this place. This is the kind of the thing that he's sort of saying behind the scenes. And he's even saying like Marvel want me to come back and I'll be like Kevin Feige's assistant. I feel like all these rumors originate from him. That's my opinion. And the reason why he does it is that it's like creates this illusion that he's like in high demand. He's not getting kicked out or fired at from Warner Brothers. He's super successful. He's the best. He just needs to go from like there to Marvel, because in Marvel everybody knows how great he is, and he may decide just to take his talents to Marvel because, like, he's the best and he can choose wherever he wants to go. That's the narrative he's trying to craft. I like it's so strange that he seems to spend more energy on these narratives than he does on these movies, but what can I do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In any case, I wasn't impressed with this thing. I'm not impressed with Gunn. I'm not impressed with Supergirl. Ron Donofrio says Supergirl, the TV series, wasn't too bad, but it was too woke. I'll tell you what. I think that the first season, the one that was on CBS or whatever it was, I saw some episodes like early on. I didn't necessarily hate it. I didn't like love it, but I didn't. There were a few things to watch that wasn't like terrible, but yet like the second that first season ended and they handed it over to CW, that was it. That was it. Could never recover. Like they went full on. Like
they changed. Yeah, they changed her outfit. They changed the stories. They changed her character. Like I didn't even really watch it all that much, but I knew someone who was watched a bunch of these CW shows, and yeah, I had actually seen a few episodes from the first season. I was like, it's not so bad. I mean,
that's what I thought.
I've seen worse things than this. It's fine.
True.
Not really my bag, but it's fine. But I heard, everything just like it was like they flipped a switch, and the second season was just dreadful.
They truly, it didn't just move to the CW like physically, but also in spirit, if you know what I mean. Like it became an official CW show for real once like they got their hands on it. So yeah, that's that. And I guess let me see if there's any other super chats that I missed or anything like that. Did I miss anything, Professor? Professor?
Oh no, I don't think you missed anything. Sorry, I'm trying to.
No, I don't think I missed anything. I think I'm all good. And thank you to everybody that hung out with us, people that sent super chats and all that good stuff. I think if you have some names, here, I see them. On Rumble, we have Elizabeth Quince, Darren Mai, Angelo DD, may contain traces of seafood. Noel 2024, K. Burton 1, Born to be Down, Vidiot. Then we have Elizabeth Quince, Darren Mai, Angelo DD, may contain traces. I think.
Sorry, I posted twice because I left Double R Star off the list.
Double R Star.
Yeah,
sorry,
you got them all. You got them all. Yeah.
By the way, if anybody sees Phantom Muck, tell him I want to speak to him. I don't have like his email and I don't have his his Twitter. Wanted to talk to him about something, but now he disappeared. So if anybody knows where to find them, let him know. I think it's a he, but Phantom Monk. Yeah.
Probably a he. Yeah. Let's see. Who do we have with us over on YouTube today? We had Jinkaria, Marla Sharondoff, a little bit faster, Angry Sparrow, Piku, Dos Des 888, Mr. Cirillo, Jawa Trader Utini, Massgrave, Charlie Brown is a winner, Jonathan Conroy, Jason Webster, Ethereal Dragon, Jason Love, Doctor Who, Darren M, Andrew Seaton, Hoot Owl, Trev Toonart, The Dead Man, Badfoot, Zunar J5, iLord Corey, The Real Headcase, hey there Headcase, John Davidson, Strugun, Tim Hayes, Istphobos, Sci-Fi Snob, Yitis, Caleb Levine, Big Sur River, Phantom Outsider, Gavin Unit, Georges Irex, Putin 3, Lasher, Koto Rob, Tomahawk 511, Ron Donofero, Murrockstro, and Toast the Host 23. So thank you all for joining us this evening, and especially thank you to those who provided us some gifts this evening. So is to Phobos giving out to 5 Price of Reason Live memberships, Gavin Unit joining membership for the channel, $10 from Toast the Host, and $5 from Maraxtro, and $5 from Ron Donofero. So thank you so much for your gifts and support for the channel this evening. Thank you.
By the way, before we leave, I think there's some breaking news.
Breaking?
I'm very careful because it's coming from, what's his face? It's coming from, like, discussing commies.
Oh, yeah.
But they seem to have posted what they consider the first clip from the movie Mandalorian and Grogu. Are you ready, Professor?
Oh, well, they supposedly showed 18 minutes of it at CinemaCon, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Let me see
the
for a
first
second.
18 minutes.
I
That's
don't
like
know, maybe
a quarter of the movie.
And were people excited? Did anybody actually care?
No, nobody cared.
So this was just posted on Discussing Film. I don't really think much of them, but I suppose they're shills enough that somebody would give them a video.
Someone gave them some support. Yeah.
I do feel like they got the access because that's what happens when accounts like this.
Well,
But
yeah, they're Access Media, so yeah.
they always have been. So let's see what it's like. Can you hear the sound?
Mm-hmm.
You heard it?
Mm-hmm.
Grogu, I need you to go to the control panel. Remember the buttons I told you never to touch? I'm gonna need you to touch them. Look for the ignition relay cutoff. It's next to the fuel differential readout, which is between the pump compression gauge and the primary reserve No, don't touch the missile battery switch. That's why there's a safety guard on it. Do you see the fuel readout display? Remember I showed you that one? It's on the other side of the manual control surface calibration.
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
That is the Mandalorian and Grogu, Jon Favreau.
That is a very underwhelming clip.
Oh,
they didn't mention, but I guess
dear
he showed it
God.
to Jimmy Kimmel because Jimmy Kimmel is ABC and ABC is Disney and all that stupid stuff.
Just wow.
That didn't look that good, did it?
This movie is going to be so bad. I'm serious. I'm giving this movie like 425 million take. I think most people are just going to stay right the hell away from this in the theaters.
You know, it's also, they've lost their momentum. You know, that first season or two from Mandalorian, there was a little bit of goodwill from fans. They've lost that many years ago. They don't have the goodwill. The show went off a cliff. I don't know what they're trying to achieve here. This kind of felt like They Fly Now to me. You know what I mean? This felt like a cringy They Fly Now. I'm going to watch it because I want to review it, but my expectations are very low.
Same. Yeah, I mean, I'll be there to see it. But again, like the kids aren't going to come with me. My kids don't care about Mandalorian and Grogu. They don't care. They're not interested. Like they once upon a time enjoyed Star Wars. My son was real excited to go see when the first of the sequel trilogy came out. Real excited to go see it, and then the second one, he wanted to go see it, and then didn't like it very much, and then we watched the third one on streaming eventually when it came out. Like none of us went to the theater to see Rise of Palpatine. So who cares about this? Like they've destroyed this IP. It's ruined. So
yeah, and this Mandalorian thing is going to bring it back because it already fell off a cliff.
Yeah, Gavin says I'm being too generous that this won't break 300. It's gonna break 300. There's gonna be people who are just gonna go see this because it says Star Wars on the marquee, but that's not gonna be as many people as it used to be. Right. It's not going to be the same numbers as before.
I agree with your assessment. You know, I said to people 300 to 500 initially because I also was kind of feeling like Gavin, but I think 400 to 500 is where it's going to fall ultimately. That's what I think. I mean, is anything possible? Sure. But I think 400 to 500 is what we're looking at.
Yep. I think that's all the audience you're going to get. to come out and see it. You know what? If it's a good movie, if it's fun, if it's enjoyable, if somehow Jon Favreau has managed to bring back the fun and the characters and everything from the earlier seasons of Mando, if it's enjoyable, I'm going to say I had a good time.
I'm going to say it too if
I
that's
will.
really the case, but
I will.
we have to see. Yeah.
But man, Tomahawk says, don't underestimate the power of the diehards. That's the problem, Tomahawk. There's just not as many diehards as there used to be. A lot of the Star Wars fan base, I mean, literally half of the Star Wars fan base has walked away. They're not interested in anything that Disney is producing under the Star Wars brand. And they have not replaced those fans with a new modern audience.
No, they haven't. They didn't.
Yeah.
But we'll see how things develop. That was a nice little breaking thing that we saw here.
Just a few weeks until that comes out. So, yeah.
We'll know sooner rather than later. And now,
For sure.
I guess we've said goodbye to everybody. We did our thing, and it's time for us to be on our way, Professor.
That's it. That'll do it for tonight. So thanks, everybody. Great seeing you all in the chat.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care.
Bye. Oh, wait, I can't end it. Professor, tell jokes for a second.
Bryce can't end the stream. He's been denied. We must continue streaming for the rest of the evening, you all. We can't go anywhere. Oh no! Oh, he's back.
Okay.
Now maybe.
Okay, let's see. Let's try
all right,
again.
let's try again.
Bye.
Bye.